All right, well, we're up. This is episode 27. Dan McCourt, everybody.
What's up?
So, how's it going, man?
It's going good.
You recently started up Archenaut again.
Yes, we did.
I like it.
Cheers.
Cheers. So, what happened with Cytera? Can you talk about it?
Yeah. Honestly, it's kind of shitty because had it not happened, we probably still wouldn't have Archenaut.
Yeah.
Archenaut came out of purely just because Cytera had to stop.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. You know.
What was it?
Well, we found out that there was another band named Cytera, but spelled with only one R.
Oh.
And
They didn't like that?
well, no. So we discovered them. They had a little bit of music out. They hadn't been active since like 2018.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I got to see what this is kind of about. But then they did have, they weren't active since 2018, but they had like a release in 21 or something like that. But then that was like it. So I was like, okay, is this band even active? Because if they're not active, then let's just go for it. And so I tracked down the vocalist of that band,
Right.
who I guess is the creator of that band, and he's probably the only remaining member. And I asked him, and I was like, hey, are you guys active? He's like, yeah, we're currently like in a hiatus, but we're looking for all new members, and we're getting ready to start writing new music. And I'm just like, oh, so you're just kind of clinging to the name.
Yeah.
And it's no longer what it was. But okay, so basically we can't use it because he was established first. And we actually consulted like a music lawyer about it.
Oh, yeah.
Just to be on the safe side, like, because we were all really kind of like, well, fuck that. We're already working. We're already playing
him.
shows. Yeah, he was cool about it too. Like, he was really nice about it. We had a good conversation through Instagram, but it was kind of just like, at the same time, it's like, fuck you, dude. You're not even doing anything. You know, you're completely rebuilding a band that you had like 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's frustrating, man.
So, yeah, so there was a sense of like, fuck you, but then it was like, well, let's see where we're at on a legal level before we get too far.
Yeah, I mean, you can still say fuck you. That's legal too. But
Yeah.
You just can't like take the name. That's all.
And the shitty thing is he still hasn't done anything else since then, since even we've talked.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of like, well, how long does he get to hold on to that just because he started it first?
You'd be surprised how long he gets to hold on to that.
It's bullshit. Yeah, because they were telling us like even if he did do nothing, right? Even if he stopped doing it and we just said fuck you and we went for it, and 10 years down the road and we got fucking 3 albums out or whatever, he could sue us because he could trademark it even after we've trademarked it. But because he has proof that it existed in his creation before ours, he still gets it. And that's actually how the law is for that. That's dumb.
Yeah, it's because a lot of the people who are like, you know, judging these laws, like the judiciary branch of all of this, like they're so far removed from this like specific industry. Like how many judges are actually like, you know, qualified and have the right like mindset about them for the sake of art rather than like the sake of like, you know, the exact wording of these legal processes that usually just end up fucking over people that have nothing to do with the
yeah, you almost need a judge that gives a shit about that section of it enough to be unbiased about it as well, but like be fair about it and like actually consider what's going on in that industry. Right. Whereas everybody else is just like, fuck it, it's just music.
Have you heard about the Michael Jackson case? It's so crazy. Like there's I forgot which song it was, but Michael Jackson his producer just totally like took one of like this beat from it. I forgot which one it was. It's like Billie Jean or something. There's like a riff that's just totally ripped off. And in the court battle, like over it, Michael Jackson like wanted a final motion. He was like, I have something to say, Your Honor. And then he just took out a boombox and played one of his songs and danced in front of the courtroom. And the jury loved it and found him not guilty. He got away with it, like making these like millions of dollars off a song that he told that his producer ripped off. Like
he's like, "Excuse me," click.
Yeah. He like moonwalked across the courtroom and he won, dude.
He's like, I didn't create an entire dance routine for this song.
Yeah,
and
so,
you know,
yeah. The I mean, since then, I'm sure it's gotten a little more serious, but
yeah,
you know, there's people suing people left and right just as much as they can. Like, oh, if it has like remotely a tiny bit of a sound alike part, they'll like try to go after him in court. It's just like, man, there's some evil motherfuckers out there that just want to make money off the music that didn't work.
I mean, that's the source of a lot of problems these days, is everybody just trying to make money off of everything they can.
Yeah,
even if it fucks over somebody else.
I just don't understand it, man.
It's like, greed.
Like
selfishness.
What was the recent one, like Marvin Gaye and I forgot. But if you listen to these two songs like side by side, like they don't really sound alike. You know, like there's no parts that are copied. Like it has a similar tempo and a similar like kind of drum beat, and it has like a similar pattern, but like nothing about it is copied. It's just like, how the fuck are you gonna sue somebody because your song like sounds similar?
Yeah, I mean, then there's only so many combinations of things you can do. At some point, things are going to start to repeat or have hints of other things. And I used to have a very strong opinion one way about it, and now I just kind of like, you know what, fuck it. If you can make it work for your own shit in a different way, go for it. You know, because I mean, I don't know. Again, you're gonna have to repeat at some point. You know, somebody's gonna rewrite the same thing. It's like the whole Stairway to Heaven thing with whatever that other band was. I can't remember. It's like I like both versions of that song, and they're completely different. They really are.
Right.
You know, just Stairway to Heaven's just done a certain way that a lot of fucking people liked, and your way just didn't work. So,
yeah,
sorry. Yeah, do it better next time.
Robert Plant is kind of like good at what he does.
Yeah, absolutely. So. They turned that one fucking thing into a fucking 8-minute song or whatever. Like, it's obviously a good song, you know.
Yeah, man, it's gonna get pretty crazy with the AI art coming up, like the AI music and
There's
stuff.
There's a lot of stuff with AI going on right now. I mean,
the Drake song, that's pretty funny.
Well, and even I saw an AI generated Bud Light commercial.
Oh yeah.
And it was the fucking weirdest thing ever. It was like trying to show people drinking the beer, but they were like talking into the bottle and shit. You know, like AI art's kind of weird and morphy and shit. It looked like a fucking like shroom trip. That's awesome. But it was like just a party scene for like a house party or some shit. And it was just
sounds like a good party.
It sounded like it was a great party, but it looked like, you know, the commercial looked like as if the viewer was on fucking shrooms.
I've been there.
Yeah. It's a little familiar.
Sometimes it's fun.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Then the other times, just want to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was just home. I think I was on leave from like the Navy or something, but I decided to do mushrooms because they don't test for those. And
no shit.
Yeah, and my brother's friends, like I did it with my brother and my girlfriend at the time, and we were at his house, and his friends decided to throw this rager of a party, and they had like 30 people over, and we had no idea what was going to happen, and we already ate the mushrooms, and then people just started showing up.
Oh, shit.
We're just like, oh, fuck.
I don't know if I'd like that.
Let's hang out back. Mm-hmm. We went to the backyard, and we were just looking at the stars and just talking about space and just, you know, stupid fucking mushroom shit. And Chris disappeared. We, like, looked around, and we're like, where the fuck did Chris go?
Eating a fucking Hot Pocket from the oven?
Yeah. And
yeah.
He actually was in his room. He said he was just staring at the wall.
Yeah.
Just like lost in his own head. Like, I don't know. I guess they fuck him up pretty bad. But they send him to another fucking planet. He's just really weak to him. I don't know why. But he said it wasn't a bad time. He just got lost, like, staring at the wall.
Yeah.
And he was gone for like 2 hours. Like,
yeah.
He was alone in his dark room for like 2 hours. We're like, where did you go? You know? But, yeah, I remember going to look for him. I was like, where's Chris? And I walked into the room, and they were all playing beer pong. All these people I didn't know. And they all looked at me. Like, everyone looked over at me because I opened the back door. Because nobody was coming out back. And I just felt 100 eyes just like, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I just walked right back outside. Like, I'm not going to find Chris. Like, he's gone. Like,
he's lost to the void.
Crazy. Yeah. Going from like 2 people to like 50 people.
Yeah.
It was intense, dude.
That's a lot of energy.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about it. Like, 'cause I can do that sober. Like, what is it about the mushrooms that like makes it like too much, you know?
I don't know. I've been doing actually a lot of looking into this subject quite a bit lately.
Yeah.
Because I recently, well, hopefully my mother doesn't see this, but I did shrooms recently, actually.
Nice.
For the third time. Yeah. It was fun, but I kind of had a more negative positive experience.
That happens.
Yeah.
You learn something usually when that happens, though.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know. I definitely can definitely relate to like Chris's situation with this most recent trip, because it was just me. I don't know if they want me to tell them who else was with, but I was with 2 other people, and it was here. And yeah, we had the bright idea of like getting Chipotle, doing a bunch of shrooms, and then sitting down and watching Tenacious D.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so, and I think the reason why it didn't work out the way we were trying to make it work out was, first of all, you have no control over a shroom trip, so don't try to control it. All you can really do is control the location, and that's about it. Everything else,
I usually just set up things to do.
Yeah, and that's really all you can do. And I think we tried to control the situation a little too much, and so we sat down and watched Tenacious D. But like, before we could even get through the credit scene, where it's like cartoon and they're like farting and they're creating music, and it's just like this weird, epic, like ridiculous thing. Like, it was already kind of turning at that point.
Oh God!
And what I realized was everything in that movie, every single fucking scene, there's something that is super ass intense, whether it's the music or the sound effects, or just the concept of what's going on. Yeah, exactly. I mean, even the intro credit scene where it's like Tenacious D, like that shit was like, oh my God, like it was just so fucking intense. And it probably didn't help that we had the TV cranked up so fucking loud. But
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, it got to a point where I just couldn't fucking sit there anymore. I was getting very uncomfortable, and then I stood up behind the couch. I was trying to watch it from a distance, and then that was too much, and I went outside, and I was like watching it from out back through the window. Like, but it just came down to me trying to get away from everything, everybody, and all the sound. I was just trying to get into a quiet, dark. So I like came in here and sat in here for a little bit with all the lights off, and then I disappeared into my room for like 4 hours, and like.
Yeah, dude, movies are weird on mushrooms for sure, because like. You want to put yourself in the movie almost. Like, that's how I feel. Like, it's almost like it's real. You're just like taking it in as it's a real life experience, but it's a movie. Like,
well, and you have you heard about the story about when we did it and we ended up watching Star Wars: A New Hope?
Yeah, you told me about that one a long time ago.
Yeah. That was probably the greatest experience I've ever had in my life. And I watched that entire movie with my eyes closed. But I had seen that movie so many times because I grew up watching it, you know, so I didn't need to watch it, but like visualizing it with your eyes closed on shrooms was insane.
I think the last movie I watched on mushrooms, it's been a while since I took them, but the last movie that I like sat down and watched, like tried to do it from start to finish, it was a Haunted House, that Wayans Brothers movie.
Oh shit.
Dude, I started
that
watching
movie's
it.
ridiculous.
It kept tricking my brain into thinking that it was a real horror movie. So I was like watching a horror movie, like I was like, this music would get all intense, you know, and I'd be like, like waiting for something to happen, and then like the ghost farts and the sheet like flies, and you're like, like, oh yeah, this is
you like
not
forget
a
that
real
it's
horror
you forget it's a parody.
Did like 10 times in a row, dude. Oh my god, dude, they got me again. It was so stupid, dude.
Well, what I've kind of realized with stuff like that, especially on shrooms, it's like you can't watch a movie like that on shrooms, because I feel like people make movies like Tenacious D.
Yeah.
And they think of this shit when they're doing drugs, and then they write the movie to sober people so they can kind of see what they saw when they were on shrooms. Yeah. So if it looks ridiculous to a sober person watching it, not on shrooms, what is that going to do to you when you're on shrooms? It's just going to amplify it even more. Like, you're watching a shroom movie on shrooms. That's not what you're supposed to do. It's meant for sober people. Like,
I could see that.
And that's why I think Star Wars worked out so well, because it's not a shroomy movie. It's not an over-exaggerated
movie.
It
for kids.
Exactly. And it's a very like, just like Shakespearean kind of like
it's
acting.
like an easy reader. Like a young adult book.
Yeah, there's not supposed to be anything suspenseful, really.
Well, there is suspense, but it's so easy to read. Yeah. You're like, this part's suspenseful.
Yeah.
You know for a fact what's going on.
You're like, you hear that music cue and you're like, oh, this is a Darth Vader scene. You know what to expect. You know what's coming.
Even the transitions are simple.
Yeah.
It's literally just like a wipe. Or it's like a circle that...
Yeah, it's
like a circle that just goes, like, pops out.
Yeah, there's like old school like video transitions.
Dude, I've been watching The Mandalorian, the new season. Yeah. They still have all of those things. They try to keep classic, it like keep it like the 70s Star Wars, even though they're filming it in like a. Have you seen what they film it in? It's like a giant like dome with screens on the inside.
Yeah,
it looks insane, dude.
Yeah, I watched a lot of the behind the scenes stuff because honestly, I think. The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett are some of the best Star Wars writing that's came out within the last couple of years. Like I think it beats all the new trilogy of Star Wars, the Kathleen Kennedy era of Star Wars, the Disney era. But I think Jon Favreau and all those guys are doing a killer job writing the script and the story and using real effects and not overdoing it with CGI and. What Star Wars is about.
They definitely overdo it with the CGI, but
in some spots, yes. I mean, they kind of have to, but
yeah, I mean, the little Grogu fella, he's not a puppet. That's not special effects. Yeah. They CGI that motherfucker in there.
I think it's gonna be because, well, no, I think there's some scenes where it's a puppet.
No, I think it is mechanical. I think they use a remote control. They have like 5 guys with remote controls that control all the parts. It's insane. It actually
like you control the eyes.
It's a robotic puppet. It actually is. Like it looks like CGI, but yeah, there's a guy that controls like the ears. Mm-hmm. There's somebody that controls like the eyes and blinking and stuff.
Well, and obviously they have to use CGI for like Luke Skywalker and stuff like that. But I think the second time they did CGI, when they brought Luke Skywalker back, when they were showing him like training Grogu and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that CGI was way better than the first time they introduced him in like the first season or some shit. Like that CGI was obviously fucked. But he looks like way better, sounds way better in the second season. And
dude. Because they used Unreal 5 or something.
Yeah,
like
they like realized that
is insane.
they realized that fans were making better CGI than they were, so they were like, "God damn it, we got to step it up a little bit."
Now you can just ask ChatGPT.
Yeah,
like, hey, get me Luke Skywalker with Stone Cold Steve Austin's voice.
Focus your energy, because Stone Cold said so. Use the Force.
May the Force be with you. He just crushes a beer into his mouth and starts his lightsaber up.
It's fucking ridiculous. I love Star Wars.
Yeah, it's interesting watching Mandalorian because, like, I really didn't like the newer movies, but The Mandalorian brings it back, I feel like.
It definitely does.
That's how I felt watching Rogue One.
Rogue One was dope. Very dope. It added a new depth to the Star Wars lore that we hadn't really quite seen before. Well, that there is more to the Star Wars world than just fucking Jedi, and the Force is more beyond than just Jedi. There's people that are Force wielders that necessarily aren't Jedi and don't use lightsabers and shit.
Yeah,
which I think is cool. And the Kyber crystals, I'm glad they kind of brought that that into the movies, because it was always a thing that was in KOTOR and all the Star Wars games, but they never touched on in the movies.
Yeah, they never really talked about like the lightsaber, like building it.
Yeah.
Except the fact that like, didn't they show Anakin building a lightsaber, but like once?
No, there was a deleted scene from Return of the Jedi of Luke building a lightsaber.
Oh yeah, that's what
and
it
they
was.
cut it out of the movie, and it's like, that's fucking important. Like, it would have been a cool scene to see. I think
right.
George Lucas had a very logical explanation for that, but that scene is dope. Like, it would have been cool if they would have included.
It wasn't logical. I don't care what he says, dude. George Lucas is not a logical dude. I don't care. Like, I don't know. I think that Favreau guy, he knows what's up.
I think he should have been.
He knows what's
Could
up.
you imagine if he was in charge of the new trilogy instead of like J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy and Rian Johnson? Like, all those guys just fucking. I don't think J.J. Abrams did a terrible job. I think The Force Awakens was a good first movie in the trilogy. It wasn't an amazing movie, but it was a good, like, Phantom Menace. You know, where it's it's not the best of the three, but it's definitely like the setup.
The thing that I didn't like about it is that it was just a setup.
Yep.
Like, none of the characters are familiar, really. And it's like, the characters that were familiar, it was like they would show them in like some cheesy cameo where they would turn around and like say some cheesy ass line, you know.
Well, yeah, and I feel like they left. They brought in character development a little too late on certain things. Like, why the fuck is Rey so powerful? You got to have more information than just, all of a sudden she can do all this fucking shit, and you have no idea why, and you don't find out why till the third goddamn movie.
Well, even then, like, their explanation for why she was so powerful was dumb.
Yeah.
Like, she shouldn't have been able to fight with a lightsaber. I don't care. Like, that takes training, which she didn't have. And all of a sudden she's up against freaking like Kylo Ren. Like,
well, a perfect example is like look how Luke Skywalker fights Darth Vader in A New Hope. Is it A New Hope, or is it fucking... No, it's not A New Hope. It's Empire Strikes Back. The first time he fights Darth Vader, he's stiff as shit, and he's had a little bit of training. He's already been hanging out with Yoda on Dagobah. And he sucks.
Darth Vader's just like, bam,
he's one-handing
bam,
it. Bam. He's toying with him. He's just fucking with him like this, like he's spanking, his kid.
He knows he's his son, though,
yeah.
at that point.
Yeah. But it's just like, how can you have Luke Skywalker, who's been training with Yoda of all fucking people, look like shit, and then Rey all of a sudden is just like a perfect Jedi right out of the box?
Darth Vader's kid. Like, that's not powerful enough to know how to use a lightsaber right off the bat. Like, I get it, Darth Sidious might be a little more powerful, but
I just think they should have had more like hints of Rey's backstory. And that would have maybe explained it a little bit more. Like, oh, there is a mysterious, like, she was dropped off, but they needed more than just a ship flying up in the air. That could be fucking anybody. Like, oh, that's the only memory I have of my parents is them flying away on a ship. Okay, well, we need more than that to explain the mystery of at least your power,
I don't know. The whole thing seemed pretty weak to me. It just seemed like a classic, like, reboot. Like, let's push the nostalgia button and get money. It was like, it wasn't like anything original. Like, I'm more excited for Dune. I don't know if you've seen the Dune movie.
I haven't.
Dude, you'd love it.
I think I've seen previews of it.
So
it looks
good,
pretty good,
dude. The first Dune movie, you got to watch that one before the second one comes out. Like, that movie is a good setup. Like, it's a setup to a bigger story, but like they just make it so epic. Like, it seems like such a large world, and like everything, like the entire planet and the entire like industry around this specific planet is like always on the edge of a war. It's just really crazy. They make it seem like so huge, but that story is going to go on for a while.
Oh yeah.
But it's really cool. I don't know if you've seen Umbrella Academy.
No, I've heard of it though.
Yeah, it's one of the stars of that movie is in Dune, or that show is in Dune. But he's really good. He's probably the only thing I like about Umbrella Academy, actually. Fuck, I wish I could remember his name. He's number 5 in Umbrella Academy. He doesn't even have a name. Like, the character doesn't have a name in Umbrella Academy. They all call him number 5.
Call him number 5.
Yeah, he's number 5. He's a time traveler. He could teleport around, and
That's
he's like,
dope.
He spent like 70 years in the future. Got picked up by this Assassin's Guild, and was trained.
That's
and
actually
like
kind of dope.
They like replaced a bunch of his organs and stuff, so he's like this superhuman now.
What the fuck?
And like he tried to jump backwards in time, which is like not allowed. It's like not like recommended without this certain technology, but he fucking does it anyways and ends up in a kid body.
Oh shit.
So he's like this 70-something-year-old guy who's like a trained assassin in a kid's body who can teleport around and shit. And
That
like he
sounds
just looks
terrifying.
like a kid. Yeah, he's like the most terrifying guy in the show. They're all scared of him. They have no idea what he's been through.
Jesus.
He ended up assassinating Kennedy. He was the one that killed Kennedy. Just because he had to save the timeline, I guess, somehow.
I love how like movies will start doing that. They start implementing historical events like that.
Yeah, I have the comics for Umbrella Academy, and they're pretty wild. There's only 3 of them right now. And between the second one and the third one is like over 10 years. Like,
damn.
The guy who wrote it is Gerard Way. He's from My Chemical Romance.
Oh no shit.
Yeah,
that's dope.
He's the singer of My Chemical Romance, but he's a graphic artist too, and like he makes
No
comics.
shit.
He has a bunch of comics, but Umbrella Academy was like the one that really launched his like writing career. You know,
he seems like somebody that would be. Do you remember those old comic books called? I think it's like Johnny the Homicidal Maniac or something like that. He seems like he'd be somebody that would like draw shit like that.
It's kind of like that style. the art style, the art is crazy. It's all over the place, and like it's just like rough. You know, the artist is Gabriel Ba. I don't know if he has a connection with Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, but the art style is really similar to like Invader Zim and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Invader Zim is the same artist for Johnny.
Oh no shit.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's the same art, dude. It's really dark.
God,
creepy.
I remember those comics. Those were so fucking fun.
You know, Jenny Tarkowski, the guy who did Samurai Jack in Dexter's Lab.
Oh yeah,
he's coming out with a new show.
Nice.
It looks pretty dope. It's called like a something unicorn, like Unicorn Warriors or something.
What the fuck?
It's kind of like a D&D style, like fantasy RPG kind of centered show. And it's all cartoony. It almost looks like Cuphead. Like their eyes have like little slits out of them, you know, like all cartoony, like 50s cartoon.
Yeah.
But it's like really serious. And like battling with like magic and like just fucking people up, and they all look like all cartoony and happy. It just looks crazy. But
wasn't there something like that was like wizards or something? One was like a black wizard and one was a white wizard, and they would, or is that a video game that I saw? I think it was a video game that I saw.
You know of a movie called Wizards? It's kind of like that, where it's like old school cartoony, but it's like it's from the 80s. It's like an 80s animation, but it's like a adult cartoon movie, and it's about like these 2 wizards, and it's like during World War II, so like the Nazis are like winning, and and Hitler has like a dark sorcerer working for him, and the good sorcerer is like his brother. He's trying to like take him out, but he needs these heroes to help him, and it's just really crazy, dude. It's like this Dr. Seuss looking animation.
Jesus.
But it's like, and you know, all the voices are like really rough, like the you know, dubbing for the voices. Yeah. It's all super rough and look sharp cuts at the beginning and ends, but the music is all like real instruments recorded. You could tell it was like done in a studio with like an orchestra. It seems like a Disney movie.
No shit.
But it's like about 2 wizards
in
like
World War
one
II.
helping Hitler and one stopping Hitler. Like it gets crazy, dude. It's almost like Lord of the Rings with Nazis. Like
oh shit.
It's nuts. It's like really dark.
Nazis would definitely be in Mordor.
Yeah. It's a pretty good movie. It's got a good ending too. It's I remember the ending because it's so shocking. You're always like, what the fuck? Like every time it happens. But yeah, there's a bunch of adult animations out there. Like I had as a kid on VHS. I think my dad had them, but a lot of them are by Mike Judge.
Mm-hmm.
Just random cartoons by Mike Judge. It's like weird animations. That guy's crazy.
Fuck yeah.
So, have you been making any new music with Archenaut?
That's
just kind of like trying to get your old songs down to come back.
Yeah, I mean, so, and that's where kind of like the blurring from Cyterra and Archenaut is kind of at, because we were working on an EP for Cyterra.
Yeah.
Our second EP for Cyterra, and a lot of those were unreleased songs that we had rewritten from Archenaut. So obviously, nobody had ever heard them really before. I think maybe we might have played one at like your house party, just as like a silent Easter egg.
I remember them. They were good, dude.
Yeah. So, and like people loved them, but like nobody remembers those. Nobody knows that we still have those songs. So, so we started rewriting those for Cyterra. And when I mean rewriting, I basically mean rewriting the concepts and the lyrics, because we were like, well, if we're not going to be doing this with Steven, then we're not going to use his lyrics, out of respect.
Right.
So we got to write new ones. And now Luis is the vocalist. So now Luis, do your thing, do your thing over our shit, and because like musically everything else stayed the same. We just had to find a way. Well, actually, I feel like by that point, we had kind of found a way to make it work with one guitar, because obviously as Archenaut, we were a 2-guitar band. So finding ways to still have that fullness in songs that previously had 2 guitarists and all of that shit. But I think me and Art figured that out quite well in Cyterra, like how to fill the sound minus 1 guitar, and I had to be on top of my shit.
Yeah, for sure.
It was terrifying. I remember when we started Cyterra, it's funny, I always kind of wanted to be like the frontman guitarist, like the next James Hetfield kind of thing. But then when it came time to like be the only guitarist in the band, I was like, oh shit.
It's a little different.
This is real. Yeah. So, and then not only that, but I had to play one of Luis's solos. So it was kind of like, I felt like I was constantly being judged if I fucked it up. And I like, because he would always like look over at me playing it just to make sure I was playing it right. So every time I was playing it, I was like, oh shit, don't fuck it up. And that was for Ohm on the Planetos EP. And but I got it down, and he like the whole time I'm like freaking out, like, oh shit, he's gonna judge me, blah blah. He just came out, he's like, dude, thank you so much for playing my solo and bringing it to life. Like it sounds so beautiful with you playing it. And then from that point, I was just kind of like, okay, I think I could do this. But anyway, so
it's like imposter syndrome.
Yeah,
like, this isn't mine.
Yeah, and so he basically told me to just fucking own it. Like, you're gonna be the one playing this live. He actually recorded the solo for the EP. That's him playing the solo for the EP.
Well, that's cool.
And I wanted him to do it because like that's all he ever wanted from it, was to just get it out there. And then live, obviously, I took it over. But
who's gonna complain?
Yeah, nobody's gonna complain.
Nobody's gonna care.
I mean, fucking Luis loved it almost more when I played it, just because he didn't have to play it, but he still got to hear
just
it.
Watch it.
Yeah, he got to experience it without having to, worrying about fucking it up, and like all of that shit. So I think he got more of a kick out of me playing it for him. So I thought that was kind of cool. But so we had to kind of figure that out for the new EP that we were writing. But then the shit with Cyterra happened, and we were like, well, I'm not going to keep releasing music under a name that we can't use anymore. So we were battling with like, okay, do we change our name again? And I'm fucking sick of restarting,
Yeah, I
so, we struggled for a long time between the whole, like, fuck you, let's use Cyterra anyway, versus let's try to come up with a new name. But, like, we're all so sick of coming up with new band names because everything's taken.
Yeah.
Everything is fucking taken. Everything you can think of. Every time I stumble across a cool word that I've never heard of, there's already bands that have done, that have already used it. And it's like, I'm so behind, I feel. But that's not even the case. It's just that everything literally has been thought of and already been taken. And that's why you see a lot more bands with like 3 or 4 word names,
It's just that it exists.
Yeah.
Like, it exists and it doesn't stop existing. So it's like, there's only so many things the English language can do. Maybe we're encroaching upon like the 10% of things are already taken. Like, maybe we're on the 15% mark or 20% mark. I don't know. Yep. Like, how many cool metal band names are there left, like, within the English language realm,
Well, and that's kind of the problem that I'm running into with everything I'm trying to do, even with like my solo project stuff that I was kind of working on, and even like this secondary project that I'm kind of working on right now. It's like, it all comes back to what the fuck are we going to call this, and what's available, what's not taken, what's not thought of already, and what can you really get away with without sounding too goddamn cheesy, and
right,
how serious do you take it? Because it's like, and I think Devin Townsend figured that out too, because it was like, okay, we're just gonna name the band Devin Townsend Project, because fuck this.
Yeah.
Fuck sitting around.
Why not?
And then it was the Devin Townsend Project, and now it's just Devin Townsend. You know, so it's just like, because he's constantly just dropping things and starting stuff, and yeah, I think he just got to that point too where he's like, I'm gonna do this a lot, so I'm not gonna put too much effort into the name.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, you know, he's like, I'm gonna probably put out a couple albums with this fucking project name, and then I'm gonna drop it and do something else. And I respect the hell out of that, but like, to this, because you gotta stop worrying about the small shit like a fucking band name.
Well,
so
he wants to write music. That guy's a nerd.
Absolutely.
Right? All he wants to do is write music and publish it, like put it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't think he's gonna let the title of the name of the album stop him. I don't think that the title of even the songs are really like that important to him as much as just getting the music on a recording and getting it out.
Well, and I feel like that's what we had to really ask ourselves is like, how much fucking time are we gonna waste sitting here being pissed off that we have to change the name and then like worrying about what we're going to change it to? We either need to say, fuck you, we're using Cytera, or fuck you, we're going to just put something up. Who gives a shit? Let's just keep writing music. And then it kind of came back to, well, like, we keep wanting to release the old Archenaut stuff. We never got to do any of that. We've had 13 plus songs sitting in a bank that we've never officially released. I mean, we've had a couple small demos that all sound like shit, you know, but we've never truly released anything, and that's always been our like kryptonite in Archenaut, is just like getting quality material out. And we really wanted to revisit a lot of that, and it was like, well, fuck it, we're already using these 4 unreleased songs from like Archenaut. Why don't we just take the name Archenaut back, you know? And even Kim from 13th Floor suggested it, because I was like bringing it up to her, because I was like, this is gonna be our last Cytera show because of this and this and this, and we might be out of the game for a little bit until we figure out what the hell we're doing.
Yeah.
And even she was like, why the fuck don't you guys just go back to Archenaut? Everybody wants you guys to go back to Archenaut. Everybody's asking for you guys. Everybody wants to see Archenaut. And she wasn't wrong. Like Brady, actually, I think you might have actually had him on your show.
Yeah, absolutely. He's still got the most number of
dude. He worships Archenaut, and in a very serious way. Like, and it's humbling, surprising, and like I really don't know how to feel about that. But it's like, if we could do that for one person, it would be kind of cool to do it to a bunch of people in the same way that like Metallica did for me, or Lamb of God. You know, I'm like,
well, you guys made an impression, man. One thing I remember about Archenaut, like originally, is that like when I started going to the Archenaut shows and stuff, like you'd be lined up with bands that like didn't even touch how heavy you were. Every time I would see you guys, like you'd be on a bill with these bands, and like they would play, and you know, it wouldn't be bad. Like they'd play their music and whatever, and like, and then Archenaut would come up and just destroy everybody. They would just annihilate the entire like vibe or whatever was in the room. You would start playing, and everyone would look over like, what the fuck is this on stage? And like, you know, and then they would start hearing it, and like you can actually hear the melodies, and the lyrics would, and the like the vocals would, you know, go with the rhythm and everything, and everything was just so powerful, and like it had its own space. When you're on stage, everything has its own space because you're all playing so fucking loud, and it's just like, dude, nobody else does that like Archenaut does. You know, not every, like usually there's parts in bands where they're like trying to emphasize certain things, and it's like, no, when Archenaut goes on, it's like everybody's trying to be the loudest fucking person on stage. It's like, fuck yeah, dude, this is nuts. It's like way different.
That's a funny way to look at it, because it's true. We're all just trying to be heard.
Like, you figured it out.
We're all that fucking ignored and neglected kid in the band, and we're all trying to be heard. You know, like
it works. Like as long as you get to the stage and play, like it fucking works out.
It's just always so funny to hear stuff like that, because like as a band on stage, we don't experience what the crowd is experiencing.
No, not at all.
And a lot of that can get to people's heads, and there's even been times where we're like, yeah, we're the shit. We're going to go in here, we're going to fuck this shit up, and we're going to go home, you know, but none of that surrounded anything we were hearing from the crowd. It was more of just us trying to manifest being the shit, being the best, being the band that fucking, you know, mops the floor, you know, and it's just funny to hear that that's exactly what we achieved to some degree, locally, you know.
When there is a crowd there, it works, you know.
Yeah.
If there's like 4 people there, it doesn't turn heads, you know. It only turns 4 heads because there's only 4 there. You know. But when the crowd is full, if they're there to see like a headlining band and there's like 50 or 60 people in the room, you know, Archenaut goes up second to last, fucking turns everyone's head, and they're like, holy shit, this is nuts. Headlining band goes on, and it's like, this is less. Like, you know,
this
like
is less.
It's not as much. Like,
that's fucking funny.
Like, Archenaut needs to be the punchline at the fucking end, you know.
Well, and that's
not as a joke, but like,
that's actually what kind of made Cyterra work so well. Because I mean, like, we were still 4 of the 5 Archenaut members. Yeah, with the same thing in mind.
Well, it was practically the same music.
Yeah, you know, and that's why our very first show is Cyterra. We played with fucking what the hell is that band? Flotsam Jetsam. That was our first show with Cyterra. And Flotsam Jetsam were even going up to Kim like, who the fuck is this band and why are they so high up on the bill? And she was like, that's fucking Archenaut. And like she had to like defend us to Flotsam Jetsam, like, you want these guys up there, you want them on the bill, you want them to play.
She's like, just watch.
Yeah. Basically. That's what made it kind of funny, because it was just like anybody who knew who we were knew it was going to be good, and anybody who didn't know was about to find out. Yeah. And obviously, Flotsam Jetsam drew a huge crowd at the Nile Theater, and yeah, because we had a crowd, we fucked that shit up. We came out strong on our first show, and it was awesome. You know, and I love shit like that, because we were also all scared. It was like our first show back in like 3 or 4 fucking years, you know, and we didn't know what to expect, and we were like, fuck, are we going to be playing to a crowd of like 5 people, you know? But now we sold all of our tickets and more. Like, a lot of people were like, oh shit, you guys are doing music again? Yeah. So that was kind of cool. So, yeah, I mean, apparently that energy kind of follows us. So I'm glad to be trying to do that again as Archenaut, now that people are going to recognize who we are now.
Yeah, dude, press the nostalgia button. Yeah. Like, people want to see, they want it back.
Well, and it's funny because of like who Brady is, and like he got the Arc tattooed on his arm.
Oh, yeah, sure.
He's got an Archenaut sticker on his fucking car right next to the Cyterra one, a big one. Yeah, like it's very obvious that is the main band, or one of the main bands that's on there, you know. And it's just so cool to have like a super fan like that. I mean, Helen was the same way, you know. She didn't go tattoo herself or anything like that, but if Archenaut's playing, she's there. You know,
it wouldn't be hard to convince her.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. I've seen her drag like 6 people with her too. Like, you got to go see this band. You know, so she's fucking awesome too. But like, that's why people like that were the first people to know. Like, we actually pulled Brady into our studio, and we had Steve in there, and we were like, this is happening. And he was just like, oh my God, you know, like he was overwhelmed. He was excited. And then I kind of like, I don't know if we were trying to tell people yet, but I feel like we all kind of told our people. And like, of course I told Helen, you know, I pulled Helen, and I pulled Helen aside, and I was just like, just so you know, this is happening. And she was like, oh shit, you know? So
yeah, that's really cool. You guys are gonna, I mean, as far as a local scene and getting out the gate and getting people to your shows and selling tickets, I don't think that's going to be very hard for you guys.
I don't think so either, but I don't want to be, I guess, cocky about it. I don't want to be overly confident either. I still.
Well, you don't have to be cocky to say that people like would buy the tickets.
Yeah, I mean, I know a good handful of people, like 50 people, that would definitely buy Archenaut tickets from me. You know, so, I just I'm not expecting to come back at the steam that we were at right out of the gate, but if we did, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, it just takes booking shows and like.
Yeah. But that's why we're also so hard pressed with getting this EP out now. That we were gonna release it under Cyterra. It's now gonna be an Archenaut thing, and again we're reworking the lyrics because Steven had lyrics for him, and now Luis has lyrics for him, and now it's kind of like, well, whose lyrics do we use? Who's singing what?
Are you gonna like work together and flesh it out, or
we're trying
is it just gonna be one or the other?
We're trying to. There's been some conflicts back and forth with how we want to do it. Obviously, each one of them is gonna fight for their side, so now I'm having to like delegate as far as like, okay, what is best for the song? Like, Luis writes a fucking beautiful chorus in damn near everything he does. Let's use his fucking choruses. You know, if he's got a better pattern for your lyrics, then we're gonna use his pattern in your lyrics. Like, that's how we need to basically approach it, and that's gonna take some sacrificing from both of them to really work together. Because what I want to do, I want to kind of turn Archenaut almost into kind of like a Mastodon, where we have multiple vocalists and they're significantly part of the song, you know, because I even started doing vocals for Cytera, and I kind of want to start doing it for Archenaut too. And then obviously Attila's a great vocalist, so it's like, why not use all of this? And if we can use it in a thrashier, death metal-y kind of like melodic way, in kind of the direction that we're already heading with some of our shit, then why not? You know, so we really need to figure out how to work together with multiple vocalists and multiple lines of lyrics, and everybody's got an idea, and we really have to look at it from a third party standpoint and like really decide what's best for the song, you know.
Yeah, sure, that makes sense.
That comes with not having a lot of ego, and we all have a lot of ego. So
yeah, I mean, what I would say, this is just from like an audience perspective, what I hear from like below the stage, what's important for the song is the guitars. So whoever's lyrics you go with, like, it's more about like the vocals and what complements the guitars for me personally. Like the guitar riffs that you guys come up with and like the way the vocals complement those, it's amazing. Like, there's probably multiple ways to do that. But if you already have the guitars there and those aren't going to change, like, go with what's going to complement those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, that's the loudest fucking thing on stage besides Attila. But he's just there to rattle your brain a little.
Oh, and he does.
But, yeah, that's just my personal, like, what I've noticed.
No, and that's a good way of looking at it, too, because I think initially what drove my guitar style and writing for the beginning of Archenaut was like Lamb of God. Yeah. You know, and their ways of just slapping vocals over the top of it, and Randy just going fucking nuts for 4 or 5 minutes. Yeah. You know, like
it's guitar centered, like really guitar heavy for sure.
Yeah. So exactly, and that band is nothing but guitar. And obviously you have the genius of Chris Adler, like just supporting the guitars and filling holes. You know,
absolutely.
And that's what Attila does for us too, you know. So I agree. I think vocals need to fall in line with a lot of that. It can't be taking away from what's going on musically.
Yeah, I've noticed that in like some like a lot of the female vocals lately, like in metal bands that have female leads, the vocals are just like on top of everything. Mm-hmm. It's just like, man, are you trying to make a song here, or just trying to promote your lead singer? Like,
that's exactly what it is.
You know, it's like,
I notice how they're all super attractive women up front.
Yeah,
you'll never see an ugly front woman.
Yeah,
like at least not today, like because that doesn't sell tickets.
A huge plump like opera lady. Mm-hmm. As cool as that would be, you probably wouldn't see it.
Yeah, and she's probably more talented.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. Jeez. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, it kind of sounds like like the guitars are like, it's hard to hear the guitars even.
What bands are you specifically talking about?
Like, fuck, I wish I could remember. Like, I don't want to be too cliche, but like Evanescence is just one example, where it's just like a lead singer just as the front. Even in every music video, it's just the female lead singer in front of everything. And it's just like, that's what the band is about at that point, you know. And that's what it kind of sounds like sometimes when the vocals are on top. of everything else. I don't know. It's just kind of
well, yeah.
weird
When you,
sometimes,
even when you say the
but-
name Evanescence, like, what do you think of?
Exactly.
Amy Lee.
Yeah.
That's all you think about.
Yeah. And anybody. Like,
Yep.
pretty much. But
Do you even know who the drummer's name is? Bet you don't.
like Philip or something. I don't know. No idea, man.
Yep.
Jeremy,
Yep.
Travis.
I feel like
knows?
there's bands that do it right, and there's definitely bands that do it wrong. I mean, Arch Enemy was, Angela Gossow of Arch Enemy.
I've heard some of the earlier stuff. It sounds really good. Blends really well.
It does.
And then when they change the singer, they go right to that shit I was
Honestly,
just talking
I
about.
feel like Angela Gossow era of Arch Enemy was very much like if you took Lamb of God and Iron Maiden and put a female Randy Blythe in front of it. That's Arch Enemy. That's good Arch Enemy. Because they have like the melodies and the weird solos and all that shit, kind of like Iron Maiden kind of flows, but they have the fast, punchy as fuck like riffs that like Lamb of God would have, you know. And then I feel like they got so far away with that with fucking Alyssa White Glues.
Yeah. Well,
She's great, but I don't think she's good for Arch Enemy.
I think it's literally sounds different. Like they mix the songs different.
Absolutely.
Just yeah, there's definitely a lead.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like a mix.
Yeah, I mean, another perfect example of that is fucking Nightwish. I mean, they've had three different vocalists.
Yeah.
3 different female vocalists, and they're all different eras, different types, different mixes of music and how the vocals sit on top of it. You know, and that's why it's either you love this era, that era, or this era. You love it all, you hate it all. Like it's just there's
Imagine if Metallica changed vocalists.
interesting.
Who would even sing for Metallica?
I don't know.
I don't know anybody else. Like, but AC/DC found a vocalist. Like, they replaced a vocalist.
See, and
somehow.
that was actually kind of funny too, because when fucking Axl Rose was singing for AC/DC, that almost kind of worked because he kind of has the same tone almost.
Whiny.
Yeah, that kind of like whiny, rocky kind of. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that actually worked surprisingly because when I first heard about it, I was like, Axl Rose is just terrible. Like, he was not Guns N' Roses
As a person.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
really.
like that
I think
guy.
that's really what it is. But
I don't know.
and then I heard him fucking singing AC/DC songs. I was like, oh, that actually kind of works. Like as far as vocal changes go, that I mean, I guess that works as good as it could.
Not too far off. I don't know. I don't really listen to either band, but
I don't anymore. I used to love AC/DC.
it's like the Beatles.
Yeah,
I don't really listen to the Beatles anymore either.
yeah.
You know,
You got what you needed out of it.
I hear them enough just without
Yeah,
searching it out.
exactly. Same thing with AC/DC.
Just walking through Walmart, I'll be hearing the Beatles on the, or like, or maybe not Walmart. They don't really play music anymore.
It's true.
Like Michael's or something.
There's no more Kmart's.
Yeah, Kmart's are gone, dude. W wins.
The W wins. That's true though. Like songs like that and bands like that being in fucking everything. Every goddamn movie. Like if I can go the rest of my life without listening to Back in Black, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
Like I'll probably never listen to that song from start to finish ever again. I can't sit through it cuz it's in everything. It's in commercials, it's in Iron Man, it's in all these fucking movies now. It's like it's that fucking riff.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The TNT is the other one.
Yep.
It's like the Iron Man song.
Oh man, when I first heard TNT though, that was the jam. Fucking Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. I would just mute all
That's
the other
first
tracks.
time you heard it was Tony
Yeah.
Hawk's Pro Skater 4?
Yep. Because
Damn, it was out for a while before then.
I know, but I was young at the time, so like yeah, me and my brothers would always play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, and I mean I'm sure I've probably heard it before that, but that was when I could truly remember like, oh, that's an AC/DC song.
Yeah, you're
You
like
know.
remembering bands and stuff.
Yeah, because
It
then
doesn't matter.
that's when I started kind of getting introduced to System of a Down too, because they had Shimmy. They had Shimmy on there too. And
Yeah.
that's a fucking dope ass skateboarding song. So like I would just go through and mute all the dumb songs and just like have those like 5 songs on repeat and then just fucking TNT. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. I was actually I really was into both of those bands like back in the day, probably like 5th or 6th grade, but it wasn't because of Tony Hawk. It's just like that's just the kind of music I liked. And then I don't know, I think my my friend Josh introduced me to System of a Down. He showed me Toxicity.
Yeah.
Like that whole CD. I was like, dude, this is fucking awesome. This is so cool. You know, that's when I got into like a little bit harder stuff. And then I stuck with new metal for a while. Like Korn and
yeah, Korn was huge.
Whatever. But I don't know, I grew out of that pretty fast. Like my brother showed me Amon Amarth.
Yeah.
And Amon Amarth is what got me into real metal. Like,
I was gonna say, remember when Disturbed was good?
Yeah, I remember when I would hear a Disturbed song
man.
and
dude, fucking I hadn't listened to Disturbed in a long ass time, and then fucking right as we were like packing up our studio at Francisco's, Attila put on Dropping Plates, and I was like, God damn, I haven't heard this song in fucking
I
forever.
don't even know what the song is.
Yeah, I can't remember anymore. I think it was no, that's not the cover song.
Some radio song.
But yeah, it's here I come, I'm dropping plates on your ass. Like it's just like a really weird fucking Disturbed song, but it was just like one of those ones where it's like when you're going through like high school and early high school, late middle school, like that was the song. That was, I don't know why, but
Trying
like,
to be a badass.
that era of like Disturbed though just kind of like fueled the anarchy and the young testosterone for some reason.
I don't know. I never really got into like Disturbed. Like I never really wanted to like listen to them. Like I thought they sounded kind of cool like back in the day, but there's just something about it that was too like predictable.
Yeah, it's very radio friendly music.
Yeah, it was really like if it all followed a formula. I felt like it all sounded the same, like AC/DC kind of.
Really, that whole era of bands and music that was coming out during that time was very like we're trying to write the best radio music possible.
Yeah, that was how to make money. Still, was to
like
get on
3
the radio.
Days Grace and Rob
It's not
Zombie
the same anymore.
and yeah, that all of that shit was just trying to get on the radio.
Yeah, well, they did a good job.
Yeah, they did.
They are still on the radio.
5 Finger Death Punch.
Nobody's replaced them.
Yeah,
They're still there.
well, because now the thing is to not be on the radio. It's like if you're on the radio, then you failed as a band. You want to stay underground.
You have a steady paycheck.
Yep. You almost want to stay underground at this point.
Well, it's better for you have to like slingshot yourself out of the underground. Because once you make it out of the underground, like
if you just peak, you're not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah,
you can't just like like come out of it a little bit. You have to fucking.
You're gonna have to restart your band and make a new name.
Yep.
Maybe just make a new band and write music for them. Not even go on stage.
Well, the speed that we ingest content these days is not helping with that situation. Band can be relevant today and nobody tomorrow, based on what they're writing, how they're writing it, when they released it,
Well, I mean, consistency is important though.
Absolutely.
I mean, as long as you keep getting stuff out, like, I mean, there's nowhere to go but up if you're just consistently putting things out. Like, as long as you don't say anything racist, you're pretty good.
You almost can't have opinion on anything anymore, though.
Well, not on racism.
not on anything.
Yeah,
I feel you can't have an opinion on anything anymore. You have to be neutral.
No opinions.
But it's like being neutral is a lack of personality, and people want personality. So it's like,
jeez,
you need a certain balance of personality versus strong opinion.
Good luck.
Yeah, especially for me.
Well, at least Spotify won't cancel anybody. They don't cancel a lot of people anyways.
Yeah.
You got to be making really specific, like, violence threats against people.
Well, Spotify's great though. We gotta try to get more on there. We only have that fucking one EP on there.
Yeah, keep going, dude. Yeah. You got songs.
well, we should have another. We should be getting done with this EP here pretty soon. And I think we've all agreed that once we finish recording it and we release it, that we're gonna, instead of continuing to focus on old songs, we're gonna write something new. I think we're gonna write a new EP of all new material. I think that's what we need, because we feel like we've kind of been in this hole with conflict in the band and stuff, and like constantly repeatedly trying to re-record the fucking same songs over and over because we're never satisfied with the quality.
Right.
We really just need to break out of that and either just say, fuck it, we're never going to release those songs, or if we do, it's going to be later. Like let's move on, because we feel like we're kind of stuck. So we need to move on, and the only way to really do that is to release something or to write something. So we're going to release the EP we were already going to release as Cytera, but under Archenaut now, and rework the vocals and stuff and get that to work in an Archenaut way.
Sure.
And then write new music and release new music. So, and in between all of that, come back and start playing shows again.
Yeah.
We already I don't know how much I could talk about it. I don't know how much of it is announced yet, but we got a show. It's a house show booked a couple months from now.
Nice, dude.
So that'll be the first.
Can you talk about whose house show it is? Or
I don't know.
Okay,
there's a couple local bands that are.
You can tell me
starting.
later, I guess.
Yeah,
but that sounds like a good time.
They've already started playing shows, and you've probably gone to their show recently. Most people have, and they're doing good.
Well,
coming
if
right
you
out
do
of the gate,
get any announcements soon, you can use this.
Absolutely, I'm sure I probably could talk about it, but since I'm not the one putting it together, I don't want to assume that. So.
No, I mean like for Archenaut in general. If you have any like announcements from Archenaut, you're welcome to send any of you guys my way. Like you're all welcome onto this shit.
For sure.
I need to get Luis on here still.
Yeah.
The guy who sings the intro every single episode. He still hasn't had his own.
Sings beyond.
Dude, yeah, that's him.
I love it so much.
It's awesome, dude.
I
want to have him re-record the guitars.
Absolutely.
I like the vocals how they are, but I want to have him re-record the guitar for sure.
I love it.
Maybe have Attila do drums on it.
That'd be dope. You should
throw a drum track on
slowly just start accumulating sounds on top of the intro.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna remix the intro, just make a new intro, and eventually it's not gonna stay how it is now.
It's definitely coming together, man. I'm happy to see you still doing it. You said episode 27. This is
number 27.
Fucking impressive, because I can't remember what number I was on, but I was on earlier on 8, maybe, I don't know, 10, something like that, somewhere in the lower numbers.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome that you're still doing it. And I watched the entire episode of you and Nate. I thought that was very, very cool, the way you guys did that, and the shit you guys were talking about. Like, it's all shit I want to talk about.
Yeah,
like space and all that shit. You know, like
space for like half of that episode.
Oh yeah, they did. I was so hooked on that. I watched every second of that fucking thing. I even like paused it when I had to like get up and go do something, because I was like, no, I want to watch this whole fucking thing. And I think it wasn't like the first video one that you've done, but it was like the first official.
It was the first full length one.
Yeah.
So I did a video episode with my dad.
I saw the one with your dad too.
Yeah, it was only like 12 minutes long.
You guys were like sitting next to each other.
Yeah, I just kind of like, what was the same setup? I had 2 cameras, but it was just in a little bedroom, like the spare bedroom at their house. But it was at his birthday party.
Yeah.
And like he was gonna go sing for the crowd, whatever.
That's awesome.
He had his jam band over, and I helped him set up on this little board, and I set up karaoke afterwards for him and all that. But yeah, it was just a little conversation. I just wanted him to put his like history out, you know, like on document. Like I wanted to get it documented, like his whole like musical history. And he kept adding things in. He's like, "Oh yeah, wait, oh yeah, I remember. It was like that." And like
he's got so much to tell. It's awesome.
Yeah, he's got a pretty long story.
He's got a good brain, man. He's got a lot of experience.
He's entertaining too.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we got to get mine and your dad together, because my dad worked in radio, you know, for 25 years and shit. You know, like he was in the industry, and I think it'd be cool to like get me, you, and our dads together and just kind of talk shit about the industry. And
it'd be good.
I think that'd be cool. It'd be the first time my dad's been back, like aired on something in quite a long time, 10, 15 years or so.
Make another special.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Make a TBS special.
Yeah.
We'll see how long it runs.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be short.
Yeah.
I was gonna call it TBS Shorts, but I didn't want to limit myself to shorter videos. If a special was gonna be longer, then I wanted to be able to make it longer.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to like not make sense.
Well, and you can kind of do kind of what Joe Rogan does, where he has full episodes that are like 2-3 hours long, but then he'll chop it up into like 8-minute sections of like specific conversations.
Well, I'm not going to do like 8-minute sections, but I'm going to chop up like 30-second sections.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do like little highlights.
Yeah.
And like if you want to come watch the episode, go for it.
Like if somebody said something funny.
Yeah.
Or something really deep or something
Well,
like
what
that.
I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the audio files and just find where we laugh.
Yeah.
And like zoom in on the spot where we laugh a bunch and then
Yeah.
like try to like clip the conversation we had like just before that loudest part and see if I can't get some stuff out of that.
That'd be cool.
But
that'd be a cool way to do it.
yeah, I just don't want to like spend too much time editing because I feel like I'm gonna get bored and it's gonna feel like a chore, and then I'm gonna just stop doing it. Like I don't want to get bored of this. I want it to stay fun.
Yeah, I get that.
I got to keep it easy for myself, and maybe when I'm making some money, I can like hire a video editor or something. But
I feel like that's kind of what slowed me down with writing new material, even.
yeah,
Because I'm like doing it at home on the computer, trying to make it sound as good as possible, like tonally, and like almost like produce it as I'm writing it.
yeah,
And it distracts you because you start focusing on things that don't fucking matter
yeah,
instead of like what you're writing. And that's definitely taken me out a little bit because I used to write on like a small little 15-watt amp and write an entire song like that with drums in my head, chaining riffs together. And then once I had like the song done, then I'd get on the computer and tab it out and put drums to it and all that shit, you know.
Maybe you need to go back to that.
I think I do because like I said, the whole like my shit's plugged in right now, you know, and like all I do is just like open Reaper and use a VST, and that's my amp, and I'll sit there and try to record it, and I'm putting echo on it, trying things for this part, and like it is a fun way to kind of get creative because I can even just like run a drum track and just see what I can riff over that. Like it does have its uses, but to get pigeonholed and like buried into that method can be very limiting, which is weird. Because it's supposed to help like broaden.
Maybe just use it for like the monitors on your headphone. Maybe just throw some slapback on it real quick, so it's like on a stage and you're in a room, and then like literally have a piece of paper instead of staring at the screen. Like, you know, I don't know. Maybe just like looking at it like there's no computer here, but I'm not sure if that'll work for you.
Either that, or I just need to turn the amp on and leave it alone. Turn my back to it, put my strap on, stand up, and stand over here, sit on the couch and play. Get away from the fucking computer. Because if the computer is right in front of me, I'm going to want to fucking touch shit and, you know, fuck with it. I don't need anything special. I just need a distorted amp. That 15-watt amp concept, you know, where there's a limited amount of knobs. You can only do so much with it. It sounds like shit, but so what? You get the idea kind of thing, you know, and maybe I need to go back to just kind of fucking with that. And see what I could do, because
it's like the
getting a little distracted. I think
go back to the old school, like high school days.
Yep. Well, that's like what I kind of wanted to do with this kind of studio setup too. I wanted it to be very comfortable and very easy to just come in here and hang out in here. And if you write something cool, if not, then at least you just came in to hang out. You know, that's why I got the couch now and drum sets all set up. If you want to work out, you can work out. You know, like whatever. Yeah, this is the man cave. You know, so it doesn't have to be for just music. So
need to get a ventilation system for the cigars.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll get there. The TBS studio will have it.
There you go.
We'll have a ventilation for the cigars. We'll be able to smoke them on the podcast like Joe Rogan, you know?
Fuck yeah.
One day.
Be like Elon Musk. Just like,
that picture.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do that every time. It's like a salute. Perfect.
Perfect.
Every time we talk about electric cars or SpaceX.
Dude, that dude's a genius.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of interviews of that guy, and
he thinks a lot. You can tell.
And honestly, he tries his best to stay neutral in a lot of things.
He's very careful with how he words things all the time.
He's very careful on how he words things. He's very careful on his actions, and because people are always going to try to find skeletons in the closet. They're always going to find something to tear your ass down and like, one of the things that people were saying is like, well, you can say this because you're a millionaire and you have all these houses and cars and all this shit. And so he was like, okay, I'm going to sell it all then.
Yeah.
Then what? Now what? What are you going to say now? I work my ass off. That's what I do. And you're like, focusing on the fact that I've made money off of me working my ass off.
Right.
You know, and so he sold all his shit, you know? So it's just like.
And then they're like, oh, well, you don't pay taxes. You paid like 0 taxes. And then he like turns around and he's like, well, name somebody who did at my level. Like, this is how you run a business at this level. You write everything off on your taxes. Like, do it without without that. Good luck.
Yeah.
You know, it's like every billionaire does this.
Yeah.
That's how you stay a billionaire. You don't pay taxes.
Yep.
Like, how is it possible without that? Like, I would be giving all my money to the United States and I would have no money left.
Not only that, but like,
well, it would just take if you didn't use the tax loopholes at that level.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be millions and millions of dollars every single year until you get 0.
And instead, you can invest that into your company.
Yeah.
And make your company
exactly
better.
what he does.
Especially when your company is improving human existence.
Yeah.
Like, I think he gets a pass, man. Like, he's trying to get us to Mars so we can be an intergalactical fucking species and shit. He's trying to, fix the energy crisis and like, he's coming up with Neuralink that's supposed to like help cure Alzheimer's and shit like that. Like, let the guy fucking create. He's gonna make the world a better place. Like, yeah, just leave him be.
I mean, it's hard to argue that he hasn't already.
Yeah. And he admits his faults. Like, he's like, yeah, the Tesla 3 model lineup was a disaster. We almost went bankrupt. Like, we fucked up. And he openly admits that shit. Like, don't buy that car. you know, like, that's somebody who's honest about what they're trying to achieve, you know? And
have you seen the video of him doing the Cybertruck demonstration?
I have not.
That shit's so funny, dude.
Cybertruck?
Yeah. Have you seen the Cybertruck?
No.
It looks weird, dude. It looks like a tank out of an N64 game. Like, it's all angular. Like, it looks so strange, dude.
Are you talking about the electric semi-truck?
No, it's not the semi-truck. It's like...
Because I think Tesla was working on an electric semi-truck, too.
I mean, yes, you're right. But it's not that. It's a Cybertruck. That's what it's literally called. And it has like bulletproof glass and like bulletproof doors, and it's like this ridiculously like modded out Tesla. Like, it's the king of Teslas, you know, as far as like being. It's like an off-road vehicle, and it's like on the street. It's like super fast.
Could you imagine if that was like our cop cars now?
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be close.
Bulletproof glass and like damn near indestructible and electric.
I think that's a good point. I think he might try to push it to be cop cars.
It's genius.
They're wedges too. They can flip a car.
Yeah.
The way they're shaped.
You can stop somebody who's fucking running and like endangering people on the freeway.
For sure. And the sound system has Dolby Atmos with like 22 speakers. There's 22 individual speakers in the car. Just some crazy shit like that. Like, but this like during the demonstration when he first unveiled it, he wanted to show off the bulletproof like glass, and they took a baseball and like he just threw it as hard as he could at the window and just shatters.
I remember him talking about that experiment. Yeah,
this is why we do testing.
Yep.
He's just like, you could see him sweating like, ah, oh, shit.
Well, I watched an interview about him talking about that incident, and he was saying like
they were beating on it with crowbars.
They were beating on it right before that.
Before the filming, yeah.
So they tested it in a way off camera that like compromised the integrity of the glass.
They already.
And then when they threw the baseball, it just destroyed it.
He's like, oh shit.
Yeah, that shit's funny.
That was a mistake. For sure.
But it's almost better that they caught that mistake on camera
because
it shows that they are working on shit.
It wasn't even just on camera. Like, it was in front of a live audience full of people. Like, it was a fucking demo, like a technology conference or something.
Like when Apple announces new shit.
Yeah, it was like that, dude. Like
now we're introducing our bulletproof glass.
Yeah, and they're all wearing mics, and he's like, now watch this.
That's so fucking funny.
And he's like, ooh, that's why we test things. Like, shit.
But, you know, I'm sure the crowd enjoyed that even a little bit more. They were like, damn, they're fucking honest. You know,
I think the rocket explosions are better.
Yeah, the fact that he like intentionally blew one up, like that's pretty awesome. That's pretty metal.
Yeah, I don't think most of them were intentional, but
no, but I think the recent one, they knew it was gonna blow up, but they needed it to blow up for a result
safety.
Of something. Yeah, they needed to test something.
They needed it to be now rather than later.
Yeah, exactly. So
they're just trying to control the debris.
It's kind of funny to think about that kind of mindset of like continue knowing you're probably going to fail, but use that failure as a way to grow from it.
Oh yeah, man.
And if you can catch that and recognize that soon enough, then you will just constantly grow because you're gonna constantly fail.
Yeah, dude, just launch the rocket, man.
Yeah,
just launch it.
Just launch it, man. Who gives a shit? Fucking
what happens.
You want to launch it today, man? Let's fucking launch it.
Yeah, let's go.
It's not ready, but let's go
to the moon.
Dude, you start making bets. Okay, how long is it gonna take to blow up?
Oh, make it a game. They had bets.
Oh, 100%.
You know there was a pool at SpaceX.
Absolutely.
Probably thousands of dollars in that pool. Is this one gonna work?
People like that.
Starship
people
launch?
Like that bet on their job. They're like, you know what? I bet you it lasts this long.
So many people probably won money on that explosion.
Oh, absolutely.
Probably yes. I just won $4,000.
I bet Elon Musk won though. And that's probably why he was pissed off.
He was in the pool.
He was just like, oh, God damn it, I hate being right. You know, just like...
It's like, well, at least I can buy a good bottle of whiskey.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know. Does he drink?
He was drinking whiskey on Joe Rogan. Yeah. The same episode that they were like smoking weed in.
Yeah, but not since then. I'm just kidding.
His alien body won't allow him to drink and smoke anymore.
Yeah. Something. That's so weird. Have you seen the recent episode of Joe Rogan with the UFO guy on there? His name is
probably. You talking about
look it up. I'm doing really bad with names on this one.
I know who you're fucking talking about though. He like worked at Area 51. Is that the guy you're talking about?
No, that's Bob Lazar.
Bob Lazar, yeah, that's the one I was thinking
He
of.
recently had a guy on who made a documentary that's called Moment of Contact, and it's about this story in Brazil where there was like a alleged crash landing.
Oh, I caught a piece of that. Yeah, it was supposed to be like their Roswell, basically, is what happened out there.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And there's so much. I watched part of that.
The U.S. keeps it
podcast.
Totally secret.
Yeah,
the U.S. just doesn't acknowledge it at all.
It wasn't even in our country, and they went over there and fucking
we were involved in it.
Yep. Like them fucking taking the alien to the hospital to like do X-rays and shit, and like nobody was allowed to know. But then it like stunk up the entire hospital. And, like, that's just fucking crazy. Like there's something's fucking going on. Like I don't know what they found.
Happened.
Yeah.
Whatever happened, it's done. But
and the girls that found it too, and the way they were like communicating with the being that they found and shit, and like
telepathically,
yeah, and like the way that they felt, and the way that the being felt, like how he was like scared and shit, and it's like, damn, we have all these preconceived notions as for aliens being like hostile and wanting to come and destroy us and shit. What if they're like us, where they're just like exploring and like they're afraid because they're on an alien planet and they don't know how the alien species is going to treat them, and we just put them in body bags and x-ray them and keep them captive, and like we're the hostile aliens.
Probably starve to death.
Yeah,
they get some radiation we don't know about and they just die. Probably horribly painful.
Yep. He's like asking for help and we're like just doing tests on him.
Yeah.
Watching his body decay and die.
I just need chlorine. Just give me some chlorine.
Yeah. It's like I'm sure if we like I'm sure if we like took care of this thing, he'd be more willing to fucking tell us about who he is and their technology and all that shit, you know. Instead we're like, no. You're gonna be in prison.
You're a threat.
Yeah.
You're a threat.
You've done nothing to us, but you're a threat.
Yeah, we rule this world. You're threatening our power.
Yeah, basically. Yep.
If people knew there were things more powerful than us, they wouldn't listen to us anymore.
Yep.
That's pretty nuts. Yeah, that whole story though, like I listened to that whole podcast. Like every time I could, I would just push play. Like fucking listen.
I need
to
watch
shit.
the whole thing.
The alien ones, they always get me, but you know, like there's never like enough evidence. Like how can they work on this problem for so long and there be so little like real video evidence still. Like with all the cell phones that exist, like that's the one thing that like bugs me is that nobody pulls out a cell phone. Nobody, like all these UFO sightings that happen.
My thing with that is like we've never experienced what that's like to come into contact for something like that. So for all we know, you know, they talk about trauma victims getting frozen and paralyzed in the moment and not thinking clearly and not thinking to like pull your phone out because they're traumatized by what's going on. And for all we know, that could be exactly how an alien contact would be, because now your entire perception of life on Earth is shattered. You know, so maybe there's something to that, if not just even the fact that the government's so good at covering it up. And maybe if there is an alien out there, maybe they're not trying to be noticed. Maybe they are trying to come under the radar, and they've done a really good job of hiding, you know. But I think, I don't know, because I the same way like I am at concerts, it's like I'm not pulling my phone out to film every moment of it. I'm just experiencing it, and it's not. Yeah, but it's not because I'm just like choosing to experience it. I'm not even thinking about pulling my phone out, and I think I don't know. I think a combination of all of those could be a factor as to why there's not really any like cell phone evidence, and then also maybe there's more photographic evidence out there than what we're realize. It's just everybody automatically assumes it's fake, or that it can be faked. It's the same thing with like fact checking. There's a lot of misinformation out there. So like if there's a lot of misinformation, videos, you know, that are edited, it's kind of hard to sift through it and decide what's real and what's not. And
yeah, I mean, but there's even a lack of like fake ones. Like even the fake ones are like not passed around because they're like, I don't know, you can tell almost immediately if somebody like CGI's it into the camera. You know what I mean? Eventually,
I don't know. Editing is getting really good,
yeah,
and it is getting harder already. Like there's stuff that I see on TikTok and Instagram already where it's like everybody's like, that's fake, but I'm just like, honestly, like maybe if that is real, like what if, I mean, that looks pretty fucking believable. That looks really good. Like,
you think the US has bots that just do that? They just immediately jump on any UFO footage and just
say it's fake.
Yeah, thousands of real looking.
I wouldn't put it past them. They have fact checkers on fucking Facebook. It's the same damn thing. Any political thing that you say that doesn't fit the Facebook agenda, it immediately gets flagged as false information. Like Attila sent me one because he got flagged for something he said, I think, on Instagram. Basically just saying, you know, like the U.S. government and NATO is to blame for stuff like this. And regardless if it's true or not, but because it's an opinion against the government Instagram agenda, they're going to flag it as false news. So it's like, just because you flag it as false news doesn't mean it's false news. You just want people to think that it's false news, and the dumb enough people to think it's false news because you say it's false news.
Yeah.
You know, like it's...
My favorite one is missing context.
Yeah.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Yeah. This story has missing context. It's like, yeah, they all do. Every story has missing context.
Nobody's filming something prior to an event happening knowing an event is going to happen.
Yeah, good luck writing everything that happened.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? It's like, you can't do that. You need quantum computers for that kind of shit.
Yeah.
You know, like, yes, everything has missing context. Us talking to each other right now, there's a lot of missing context.
Absolutely. Because not everybody's going to even know what we're talking about.
It just doesn't mean anything. You know, like, yeah, they didn't write every single little piece of what happened into that article.
Yep.
Like, that doesn't mean every piece of the article is wrong. You know, it doesn't even say that it's false. It just says like, oh yeah, this is not what we want you to think it means.
Well, and it's even like coming back to Elon Musk, like even my opinion of him has changed recently just because I finally started looking into who he is, what he's done, what he says, what he does. And because I feel like the general image of him is relatively negative. Because a lot of people are judging him based on things that Instagram is saying he's saying on Twitter or doing on Twitter. You're getting shitty information from one social media platform about somebody else who's doing something else on a different social media platform.
Right.
And you're accepting it as truth and fact. Okay. Yeah, I would rather watch videos of him talking and getting interviewed and answering questions and read his body language and hear it from him.
Yeah.
Than to get somebody's bullshit opinion on social media. So, and that's exactly what I did, and that's why my opinion of him is way different now. Not that I really had an opinion. I didn't really know everything that he was doing, but now that I've really started looking into it, it's like, damn, this guy is doing a lot for humanity. He means well, and he's fucking smart, and he can do it. Get out of his way. Let him fucking do it. Give him the funding. Seriously.
He's like in that billionaire like circle, like just by technicality, but he's definitely not playing their games.
Yeah, a lot of people hate him just because he's rich, because he has money, and I think that's a dumbass reason to hate somebody.
He can do a lot more with it if he doesn't just give it away. Mm-hmm. I kind of like what he's doing with it.
Absolutely.
I don't need his money.
He almost bankrupted himself building Tesla.
I need Nancy Pelosi's money. That's whose money I need.
Yep.
She didn't earn that shit.
Well, and I think there was something he was saying where in like 2008, when like the market crashed, he only had like $30 million left, and he could either put it all into SpaceX or all into Tesla and have a high chance of one of those succeeding and one of those dying, or he could split it and put it into two companies, both of those companies, and have a higher chance of both of them failing. He put his money into both of them. He took a fucking risk and almost bankrupted himself, and it saved his company.
Nice.
And now him and Ford, Tesla and Ford are the only two car companies that have never gone bankrupt. It's like, that's because he just said, fuck it. If I go homeless trying to keep this fucking company alive, I'm going to do it because humanity needs this product.
He'll never be homeless. He was never, ever in danger of ever being homeless.
Yep.
I mean, by technicality, he's homeless, I guess. He doesn't really own a home.
He sleeps at his work.
Yeah.
He said that he'll sleep under his desk at work so that the workers during shift change see that shit so that they know that he's in the trenches too. It's like
he's really dramatic.
He's very dramatic.
So
but he's also making a point, though.
Yeah, I that's what I mean by dramatic. Mm-hmm. He's doing it to make a point. It's not like he does that because he's forced himself to do that. Like, he does that so people see him doing it. Mm-hmm. Like, there's theatrics involved.
Absolutely.
So it's like, I would almost rather him just go home and sleep. Like, just go home, dude.
No, I don't know. I don't know. If I saw more... I'm not saying I want my bosses to sleep under their desk, but if I saw more in the trench mentality with your employees, I think I would respect managers more. I would respect bosses more. And
yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's always there. Mm-hmm. You know, he's always there showing face. So it's like, it's not like you got to be the first person there every time.
Well, if you think about it, that's how McDonald's runs so well. If you have a fucking manager, they're there bagging French fries.
You have a manager that sleeps there under the desk. My God, like
no, but they're not just in their office calling the shots. They're out on the line running the register. They're putting food together.
I've never worked at McDonald's.
I haven't either, but I've seen it. My brothers worked there. I know how fast food works. You know, and yeah, you got managers cooking and bagging and running the register just the same as anybody else. They're just labeled a manager. And that, to me, is a real fucking manager. That's somebody who's doing the work with you, not just telling you to do it.
Well, I've seen managers that will jump in and do the work and then just not do the management part, though.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen that, too, where it goes the other way. I had to deal with that recently at my work.
Yeah.
This guy would, he still does it because I still work there. But he'll jump in and, he'll start working and, you'll ask him questions and he won't know the answers. He'll just come up with some bullshit and feed you bullshit to make it seem like, oh yeah, I'm still in charge. You know, well, we'll figure that out.
Somebody who shouldn't be a manager.
You could just tell me you don't fucking know.
Yep.
You don't have to tell me that you think that's not right or that's wrong. Let me figure this bullshit out. Or it's he's just feeding me words to make sure I'm not frustrated. But it's that's the most frustrating part. I don't know how to describe it, but dude, this guy is
yeah,
he bugs me. I need him to step away from the work and like do the management part.
Yeah.
You know, like, I need this for my job. Just trust me and fucking get me the shit so I can do my job. Don't jump in and put your hands on it and start trying to put it together for me. Like, no. You're going to run into the same wall I did. And you're going to say, oh, we need this part.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Didn't I just fucking say that?
I feel like people like that are managers that were given the position, not somebody who works for the position. Because anybody who works for that position knows that you're right. You do need this shit. I'll go get it for you right now.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that we do need this, and I'm not going to second guess your judgment on it because I get it. I've done the job. Not like, oh, I just got to tell these people to do this and offer bullshit answers when they ask me questions.
Yeah. He's just more comfortable doing the work rather than like leading the charge and like trying to set the guys up with what they need and like get everything to go smoothly. He was more like, I need to put my hands on this so it gets done.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would feed you bullshit in the meantime. So like, you know, he didn't want to step on your toes, but he's just stomping on them left and right. It's like, oh my God, dude, go away. Like, go back to the office. Get out of here. I don't know. It seems like a common problem. People get promoting too fast. Like, they get promoted without training. Then they're in a spot. They don't know what the fuck to do.
Yep, exactly.
I see it in every industry I've been in so far.
I have some of that going on in my job too, and it's fucking frustrating.
It's everywhere. Just rampant.
But we'll just give you a pizza party. That'll make it all better.
Pizza party. We'll yeah. That sounds great, dude. Yeah, my bosses buy me lunch sometimes. Like, ooh. Nice. Like, yeah, I can't wait to get a new job, dude. It's gonna be great. Anyways, back to the music stuff, dude.
Let me take a piss real quick.
Yeah, let's take a break.
All right,
back in position. Jeez, my beer's all foaming up. Oh well. Anyways, back to the music. Just want to know if you guys had any events lined up. I know that when I was working with you guys, we did like events every so often. I thought that was pretty cool. I remember the time we got together and cooked Philly cheesesteaks.
Oh yeah,
dude, that was fucking dope.
We haven't really done anything like that recently, just because of the Cyterra Archenaut changeover.
Yeah,
where it's been very much like work, trying to get back on track. Cause,
yeah, sure.
We don't want to take too much time away from not playing shows, and it's already been a while. So, yeah, that's mostly been our focus. So I think we feel like if we have time to make, Philly cheesesteaks, we have time to record. We have time to practice.
Yeah, recording's important.
Yeah.
Make sure to get that fucking product out, dude.
Yeah.
I want to show people Archenaut. It's really hard when I have to sell them tickets to show them Archenaut.
I know. And somehow we just
send them a
do
Spotify
it.
link.
Yeah. Somehow we do it, but that's because those who know,
Yeah.
That comes back to just having those super fans that are close friends also, but they also spread the word. They get it out there. But no. We were kind of doing some grilling stuff at our studio for a little while, and then we got rid of it. We were gonna do like a breakfast band day.
Breakfast day.
Yeah.
It's gotta be easy to cook, dude. Just get a camp stove out in the backyard or something.
Yeah.
Like my dad's got this camp stove. It's just like a huge rectangle griddle, and it has like a little grease trap in the corner,
Mm-hmm.
So you can just throw everything on the same griddle and just cook it all at once. It's pretty nice.
Hell yeah. I think I want to try to do another like get together too over here, because we did Luis's wedding.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
That was dope. That was so cool. We had
that was
karaoke
cool.
and all that shit, and
the little photo booth area.
Yeah,
that was kind of a cool.
It was
idea.
very cool. Yeah, the Polaroids was kind of a nice touch. The the themed celebrity dress up theme to the wedding was kind of cool.
I failed.
Yeah. But it was fun. It was kind of like anybody who wanted to kind of fuck off and dress up, they could. Anybody who didn't, it doesn't matter. Like just come hang out.
Well, I cheated.
Yeah.
I said Claudio Sanchez, but the guy from Coheed and Cambria,
yeah,
just has the same hair. So
There you go.
Just take my glasses off. Look, I'm Claudio Sanchez. Can't you tell?
I know. I feel like I didn't really have to do much for mine either. I just had to get the right clothes.
Yeah.
Because
right.
I personally don't think so, but some people have said that I kind of have that dime bag thing because I got the reddish beard. Mine's naturally red, but like I dyed it even for that party, and I don't know. I was like, well, if other people think that, I guess I can just roll with that because I don't know what else to be. I don't. I've heard John Petrucci from Dream Theater too, but it's like, well, I'm not that jacked and I don't have that beard, so like I got to be a little realistic. So, and then obviously Luis had the fucking dime bag guitar, so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get a denim jacket. I'm gonna cut the sleeves off of it. I'm gonna find some cargo shorts that are camo, and that's dime bag. that's it, So. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But no events currently planned or anything like that yet. We're really buckling down on trying to.
Yeah, well, I'd like to see you get more stuff up on like Spotify and stuff that's just easier to like get to.
Well, we did just release Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
it was an old recording that we did with TJ and Daniel.
Yeah.
And it was like the test song to see if we were going to do a full album like that. And I think we intended to, but things just kind of got fucked up scheduling wise, and there was a lot of shit going on, so it kind of fell apart. And then we originally weren't even supposed to work with Daniel and TJ. It was supposed to be I can't even remember his name, but he was a local guy out here. He did Axe Harbor. He was in that band. He was kind of like a producer out here for a little bit. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. He's a cool dude. He's on Instagram. I can't remember his fucking name, but his like coworkers / like producer team that he had in his studio was TJ and Daniel. And so he ended up getting like really sick or something, and he was also working with Condemned Till Dawn. He was recording their shit for a while. And I feel bad I can't remember his name, but so he was too busy like with them, and then he was also sick, so we ended up working with just TJ and Daniel, and they were great, but it just wasn't what we were going there for. We paid for the other guy, and we kind of got dumped on these other two. They did a good job. They just did it in a style that we didn't like it, because they're more into that more like core style of mixing where the drums are very triggered and all of that shit, and we were still trying to keep things raw and old school and underground. And
well, it fits better with Archenaut to be like more just loud and raw, more like power than like technical sharp like timing. Like that's not Archenaut, I don't think, anyways.
Well, and I think that's also been part of the biggest problem with getting quality recordings that we like, because it's always been not the way we sound. I don't know how to explain it. It's like
hard to get a good balance.
Nobody's able to capture our sound correctly. We haven't quite found the right person to capture what we're trying to give off.
Yeah.
Because we're very, I don't know. I don't want to put a name on it, but I guess we're very much like how Pantera and Lamb of God were, and like very in your face, very loud, very rowdy.
Yeah, man.
And I feel like that's very hard to capture. And maybe that's why a lot of bands change their style over time, is because it is a hard style to capture. And it makes more economical sense to try to capture this triggered, polished sound than it is.
There's a way to do it, though.
There is, absolutely. I mean, God, I can't remember his damn name either, but the guy that mostly produced a lot of Cannibal Corpse albums, he was like the first person to be able to like capture that true death metal sound in the way that they were trying to get it out there. And like he kind of pioneered that style of mixing, and like that's kind of what we need. We need somebody who's able to like understand what we're trying to do and make that come to life. And we just haven't found that person yet.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, it's kind of like a unique style in a way, because it is, I would say, even if it's not harder to make it happen, you have to do it in a way that's different than making any other type of music. You know, you have to like think outside the box to get that kind of like sound. And you know, I don't know enough about mixing like under the hood or anything like that. You know, I kind of went through a crash course at Crass on studio work, but it wasn't much of a producer's class or anything.
Really, they didn't like go into depth with all of that, because that's
more about
kind of what I was.
It was more about the
for.
equipment and the physical side of like, you know, here's signal flow, here's how the board works, like here's what all the buttons do, and like it was like weeks of this kind of like training on like how to use a professional board and like how not to fuck it up and like the etiquette behind it and like, you know, what all these pieces of equipment on the rack do and like how to patch those in and what you would use them for. Like we did a lot of practice. Like they would bring a drummer in and we would practice recording the drums for a specific track, you know. And, you know, they would have sometimes a whole band would come in and we would have to like set the mics up. Like the teachers wouldn't touch any of it. And we'd have to go out there and set up all the mics and do the whole studio session by yourself.
Well, that's not too bad. I mean, there's like, a producer side to that. Like setting up mics correctly.
It's not about how it sounds though. Like the school was not about how, like, to make it sound good. Like that was not the point. The point was to get a clear sound. So can you get a really clear sound from this microphone, like from the guitar? Like,
so it was more about the source.
Yeah. Like it wasn't about making music.
Yeah.
It was about like using the microphone to the best of its capabilities.
Yeah.
You know, do you know how to use it?
Capturing the best source for your signal. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, do you mic up the like guitar amp, or do you fucking run the guitar straight into a DI and use a plugin? Like, what does the artist want? Like, here's how to do those things depending on what the artist wants you to do. Like, it was more like how rather than like why. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just a matter of like practice and like learning off of other people's tools. Yeah. So maybe you could look up some videos on how this person even starts the process of recording death metal.
Yeah.
And maybe go from there. Maybe they're using a certain technique you haven't thought of yet.
That's why I like to watch a lot of documentaries of people recording their albums in the studio. Yeah. That's my favorite shit. And I've always wanted to like capture that for Archenaut even. I don't know who would watch it or if anybody would care, but I care and I want to watch it. You know, I want to watch us do our shit in the studio. I think it's cool. I like watching us do what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
As weird as that is, I don't know if that's like a self-centered thing, but like I really enjoy.
I follow other bands and I like to see them working in the studio and stuff. Like one of the bands that always stands out to me is when I watch Flesh God Apocalypse working in the studio. Dude, the drummer, like I always watch the drumming videos because that band is just blasting noise all the time, and like watching the drummer play, it's just like he's having a seizure on the fucking drums, dude. He's just going crazy. It's like, man, this video is entertaining, dude. I could watch this over the band, like.
Yeah, no, exactly, and I very much enjoy those videos and that process, and not only that, but it's cool to see how other band dynamics work. And what each member's role is in the band, both in recording and just writing, you know, because it is kind of cool to see how other bands function, and if maybe you can learn something from that and how to function within your own band from stuff like that. So I love shit like that. Even I wish like local bands would do more stuff like that, where they would record themselves recording their albums. Like I love Condemned Till Dawn and all those guys, so I think it would have been really cool and entertaining to like watch them recording their stuff, you know, and how they work and who's doing what and how the decisions are being made and stuff like. I like that inside look.
Yeah, you almost need like a professional documentarian to like know when to have the camera on. You know what I mean? Like that. It's hard to like at the level of like underground metal that all of us are at right now. Like it's hard to find somebody experienced enough to know when to shoot and when to like get all those moments. Yeah. You know, it takes some amount of experience that like once they already have that experience, why would they deal with such small fish? Like they could use this experience and make thousands of dollars.
I think that is also kind of what makes it harder for bands nowadays for even content creation, because it's like before, musicians were just musicians. They can focus on just writing and playing, and that was it.
Yeah.
If you needed to film anything, somebody else did it. Nowadays, it's like you have to do everything. You have to film yourself. You have to create the content. You have to post it. You have to run your Instagram page. You have to run your Facebook page. So you're more than just a musician at that point. You also have to handle social media and marketing and business. And when you're at that low level, it's like that's why not needing labels anymore is kind of goes both ways, because labels help provide people that do stuff like that and shit that you don't have to worry about. You can focus on the music and stuff like that, and that's the kind of the downfall of being individualized with music, because you can be your own label, but just so you know, you're doing everything, all of it and more.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the label definitely provides a huge resource, but at the same time, like, they tell you what they want from you.
Well, yeah, because they know what works.
They know what has worked. Like, they know what will gain a profit.
Yep.
They don't know what's best for the art. Like, that's not their game.
Yep, correct.
You know, so you gotta, like, know whose game you're playing, pretty much.
Yep.
But I don't know.
And I think that's been part of the reason why part of that is not getting the right recordings that we want, because whoever produces it, whoever mixes it, is going to mix it and produce it in what they think is best for them and what they're used to hearing and what they think sounds good.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about it as like, okay, this is a death metal band. We need to mix it like a death metal band. Instead, it's, well, I'm good at mixing core metal, so I'm just going to mix this death metal band in a core metal style, and that should sound good. And it's like, yeah, I mean, the quality is good, sure, but it's got the wrong dynamic. It's like coloring a painting with the wrong colors.
Yeah.
It's still painting. The image is still there. You can see what's going on, but it's confusing because the colors are off.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important to capture the right painter.
Well, give me a fucking crack at it, dude.
I'm down.
Let me try to mix that shit.
I'm down. Yeah. I mean, I did our Planetto CP for Cytera for the most part. I had you running the vocals and cleaning up the vocals and stuff, but for the majority of like the mixing and mastering, I did all of that. That came out pretty damn good for what I was able to do, and I've done a lot of shitty mixes. I did all the earlier Archenaut stuff too. I did all of that except for maybe like one thing that we had somebody else do, and it was for like one song. But like all the old demos, the very first Archenaut demo, I did that shit with 4 microphones. And it's
not a lot.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I think we had that was back when we had Tommy in the band. He was our drummer. And I think I set 1 mic on the fucking kick, 1 mic on the snare, and 2 overheads. There was bleeding everywhere, and the mix was terrible.
Well, if you have the right mics, it might work. But
And without any knowledge, I mic'd amps and recorded the amps like that, and the amps sound like shit. Steven was sick as fuck when he recorded the vocals. So his vocals are all over the goddamn place. He had like a sinus infection or some shit, a respiratory infection. So his vocals are very strained. And that was also when we had 3 guitarists. That was when Billy was in the band, and like, we should not have had 3 guitarists.
Doesn't need it.
Especially when one is literally there just to
you could
fill
almost
space.
do it with 1 guitar.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
But
and a
nice
lot of
with
those songs were written with 1 guitar.
It sounds
initially.
really nice with 2, though.
Yeah. Yeah. No, a lot of those songs like Adoptive Son and Ruinous, those were written by Luis when it was just Luis. This was way before I met him. And he wrote them as a 1 guitar band. And the only reason why it sounds good now with 2 guitars is because I've added second guitar parts to certain riffs that didn't have second guitar parts anymore.
Sure.
And can it be done without those? Absolutely. But we had to find some way to make it work with 2 guitars and not sound like we're just, because a lot of people used to say that. It's like, you guys got 2 guitars, but you're both playing the same fucking thing throughout the entire song. Like, what's the point in that?
You just say, fuck you. Like, I don't give a fuck.
I mean, that was the mentality. It was kind of like, well, fuck you. It sounds good.
Yeah, like,
who cares what the fuck we're doing? It sounds good.
Then it would only sound like 1 guitar.
Yeah,
asshole.
It will sound like 1 big ass fucking guitar. But it also kind of acted as like, we started using that to our advantage. Like, okay, you're backing me up so I can go a little bit crazier on stage. Because if I miss a note, at least you're playing the same note, you know? Dude. Yeah, anybody who's been following us, at least following me and Luis for a very long time, they've seen that dynamic change back and forth where he's the crazy one on stage and I'm the calm, keeping the musicianship together. And then it's like, now I'm the crazy one and he's keeping the calm, you know? So it's just like, it's kind of funny the way we bounce back and forth with that.
Yeah, I've definitely seen it both ways.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think now we're both just at that point where it's like we just want to sound good. I'm sick of destroying my neck on stage. I'm sick of hurting the next day.
Just do the job.
Just do the job. Sound good. If you sound good and perform well, people will appreciate that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I see that more with like older musicians. Like I just saw Gojira and Mastodon, and same thing. You can tell they're getting older. They're getting slower, but they're still great. They still sound great. They still look great. They still put on a good show, and they're not giving themselves whiplash to do it.
Well, you're not a dancer. You're a guitar player.
Yeah. I don't know. I grew up on thrash, so like seeing and of course all my idols, you know, James Hetfield and Tom Araya and fucking Jason Newsted, those are all heavy headbangers and they all have neck issues. They've all had surgery. They've all got fucked up shoulders and necks, you know, and it's like there's a reason for that. And now I know why.
Humans just aren't meant to move like that.
Yep. Yeah, I mean,
there's no evolutionary advantage to banging your head like that.
None at all. And the way I kind of like made sense of it is like if you held a dumbbell, if you held like a 20-pound dumbbell in your wrist, in your hand, and you just went like this, and just letting that weight fucking throw your wrist back and forth, you're gonna fuck up your wrist. And that's what you're doing with your head. Your head weighs like 10, 15 pounds. And you're just going like you're thrashing your head around, and it's not good for your neck. It's not good for your spine.
I've seen people headbanging. I just can't look away. You just see them like destroying their spine. Like,
well, I look at old videos of like me and Luis playing, like pre-Archenaut, like even in the bands that we were in even before Archenaut, Sinistyle. And Sledge and stuff like that, and like, damn, I had no regard for how my neck was gonna feel. I did not fucking care because I saw Tom Araya do it, and I was like, well, that looks cool. I'm gonna do that. No, I've given myself reverse cervical curve in my neck because of that repeated whiplash.
That's not good.
It's probably better now, but I'm afraid to check because I've stopped headbanging for the most part.
You don't have to.
No, I had to put a hat on stage sometimes to prevent myself from headbanging. I'm like, well, I'm not going to headbang with a hat on. I'll keep my hair out of my face and I'll just wear a hat and that'll kind of keep me centered. And that worked. But man, I miss headbanging. There is something about headbanging where it's like, it's fun.
Well, you could like fake it and just kind of like swirl your hair around. That's not the same.
It's
but
not.
It looks like you are.
You really have to have more. You have to have more control over your neck. You can't just throw your head. You have to control the motion.
It's almost like you're rotating your chest more than your neck.
Yep.
It's like
yep. Yeah. You bend at your fucking hips, and let your hips do the work and keep your neck stiff. Your neck stiff. Your neck stiff. You can capture the same effect.
It just looks really dumb when you have short hair.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you have long hair, it covers up the awkward posture.
Yep. Willie Adler does it pretty well, though. From Lamb of God, he cut all his hair off, and he still headbangs, and he looks good doing it. But, yeah, you could tell it's like, you don't have hair anymore.
I was doing it at that Cytera show.
Yeah?
Yeah, you guys played that last song you played. It was one of the newer Archenaut ones you wrote. It was the one I really like. Serpent's Trial is what you were calling it. I don't know if it's still the same name, but
it is.
I love that song so much. It has such a good breakdown riff in there. And
so that is actually on the EP that we're releasing.
Yeah,
and I can't fucking wait to release it.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
It's probably
have you
my
done
favorite
the mixing
song
yet, or even the recording? Like, where are you in that?
The drums are done. All the guitars, all the rhythm guitars are done. I still got to do some of the leads. There's some stuff I got to fill in.
Do you do the vocals yet?
Vocals are not done yet. We're still writing the lyrics, fixing the lyrics, making it work for both Luis and Steven.
Okay. Are they both going to sing?
They're both going to have certain parts. Yeah.
Okay.
And even like there's certain parts where like we're keeping Luis's lyrics, but Steven is singing it. So like we're doing a lot of stuff like that. We're literally trying to make it make sense for everybody.
No, that's cool. I like that a lot. That Luis and Steven are like actually collaborating. That's cool.
We're trying. Yeah, it hasn't been easy, but I think we finally found a method that kind of works.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah, and I think this last time that we started working on it, we've really kind of figured it out. So I'm really excited to see what happens next, because I think we're gonna get something really good out of it, and even more so, that'll kind of get us working together on a level that works, so that way when we go to write new music, the new music's just going to be so fucking good. And I can't wait to write new Archenaut music. I'm trying to think what new Archenaut music's going to look like. So. Yeah,
I can't imagine, dude. Hopefully it still blows people away from the stage.
I think it will. There's enough build up.
You have to like fight to get to the front.
Yeah. I hope whatever we do next is really fucking good and people enjoy it, because we have been away for a long time.
Yeah, we have jump on with some of the other bands that are making moves too.
Yeah, I want to try to build back up, because I feel like, and I don't want this to sound super negative or have anybody have any particular feeling about it, but personally, I feel like the scene that we were a part of and playing in pre-COVID is dead. It's gone. The whole scene has completely changed. There's different bands now. Every band that we were playing with during that time is done. Even Condemned Till Dawn, like they were one of the last ones that was like they started when we started, and now they're one of the
apart from the thrash scene, I guess there's some thrash bands that's
that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that there isn't any. I'm just saying the previous bands and the people that we were associating with then are kind of not around anymore.
Yeah, I mean that whole pandemic really mixed everything up in the scene for sure.
I feel like there's and maybe I just haven't gotten out enough, and we haven't played any shows as Archenaut yet, and maybe I'm a little blind to what's really going on out there, and probably so. But I feel there's definitely a huge shift in what genre is in control of the scene right now.
What genre? What are you talking about?
I feel like everything is definitely going in that shout out to the boys, Born of Ash and Amaya and all those guys. I feel like they're leading the scene right now. I feel like they're definitely carrying the torch at the moment, and they are a different style than what we were doing. And I think that's part of the reason why like Condemned Till Dawn's not around anymore, because even they were kind of changing their style to kind of what is out there now. Bringing Kyler in, who's more of like a Corey vocalist, not like a thrashy vocalist like Nate was when he was in Condemned Till Dawn, and like, and they're nothing negative about anything. I think what they were doing was dope. I was getting really excited for what Condemned Till Dawn was doing. And like the promo stuff that they were doing, I was getting really excited.
I like Kyler as a vocalist.
I do too, really do. And I think he very much enjoyed it too, because I mean, for years we were trying to convince Kyler to like tried being in a band, because he was never in a band and he was really good at vocals.
He needs
and
to try more.
Yep,
we try harder.
We did that. We did that As I Lay Dying cover, and he fucking killed it in that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do another one with him, but he was like, I want to wait a certain amount of time, because I want people to see the transition from what I was doing then when I wasn't in a band, and like what I'm capable of now in a band. What
a diva.
No, I mean, I kind of understood. I understood what he was trying to do, because he was also like waiting to release stuff in Condemned Till Dawn, I think, and he didn't want to release anything prior to that. He wanted to be like, hey, guess what? I'm in a band now, and it's Condemned Till Dawn, and this is what we have, and it's fucking dope. Instead of being like, hey, I kind of started trying to do this other cover with Dan from Archenaut. Like,
I guess
I don't know. I felt like it was very secondary.
I'm like notoriously impatient though.
Same.
I just want more, dude. Like, give me more. I don't care. I don't look at the optics of any of that shit. Like, I don't care when you did your last project. Like, you could have started a project yesterday and then one today, and then you're going to start one tomorrow. Like, I want to hear all of them, dude.
Yeah, it's still you. It's still creative. Like, it's either
not going to be less because you do like more projects.
Yep, absolutely.
I don't care about the saturation.
Yeah,
it sounds good. It's good. Like, show me. If you think it's good, fucking show me. Like, I want to hear it.
Well, and, yeah, like none of what I was saying was at all a negative, because I think everything that those guys are doing is fucking awesome. Like, Amaya's kind of killing it right now.
Yeah, dude.
And,
I like Amaya. I don't even listen to that type of music, but
I don't either. But I don't listen to that kind of music either. But I respect the quality of songs that they're writing and the quality of recordings that they're doing and the quality of shows that they're putting on.
Oh yeah,
and they give a shit. It's like it's not my style, but they give a shit, and I respect the hell out of that. And I respect Dakota and all of those guys, and
they're fun too.
Yeah, they're cool.
Those
dudes.
guys are fun.
They're just cool dudes to hang
out with all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think I've met their drummer yet, but the other 3 dudes, like I can hang out with them. Like they're awesome.
We haven't quite hung out with them enough, just because we have been kind of focusing on a lot of stuff, and then like Cyterra kind of blew up. But yeah, I definitely want to get together with them some more, and I think we are going to be planning some shows with some of those guys and really kind of just putting ourselves back out there. But there's just nothing official yet, you know?
Yeah. It's kind of hard when you're still like trying to make the set list, pretty much.
Yeah.
Are you gonna try to put new songs on a set list, or are you gonna just try to stick with the songs you got written for now to play live shows?
I think it just depends on when those shows come. So like the one that the house party that we've got booked out, it's out quite a ways. We might be able to write a new song by then, but that's not our goal. Our goal is the focus is the EP and getting that out. And if
that's good,
we get that out quick enough and we do have enough time to maybe write something that we can like get pretty damn close to finished for the house party, I think we definitely would probably
just try it out,
pull it out. Yeah, just
throw it out there. Because
the set we have prepared for that house party, and I think we're opening that house party, but the set that we have prepared for that is obviously the heaviest, thrashiest, fastest shit that we have
for a house party.
Like, my mentality, and it's no disrespect to anybody, but it's like my mentality as far as like a house party goes is like I want to make sure that when we're done playing, there's no house left.
Yeah, like
I want to make sure that like we did our job so well that the house is burning to the ground, in a metaphorical sense. Like I want that shit to hit really fucking hard. I want there to be mosh pits in the living room, whatever scenario we got set up, And
well, that's what I mean when I'm talking about Archenaut playing any live show, any venue. Like that's where you set the bar. Like you come into the show like you're fucking professional wrestlers going like, we're gonna tear this fucking place down, and like you try your fucking hardest to tear it down with sound waves. Like you try, and it's like I don't think anybody else really has that same kind of energy, at least not in this scene right now. Like you literally will walk on stage and say like we're going to melt all of you with this fucking music. Like you just have this crazy fucking energy coming out, and it's like, yeah, house shows, easy to do that. Like nobody fucking does that at house shows.
No, I appreciate you saying that, because like
I'm really excited for Archenaut coming back.
We really are trying to we really are trying to bring the best, heaviest music to the world. And
well, you've done it before.
We want to bring people with us, and really create the culture for it. But at the same time, we also want to burn the place down, in a respectful way.
Yeah.
So it's like we definitely are. We're definitely trying to be the next big thing, and we're sounding like it, and that's our goal. We want. I don't know. At least I do. Maybe I should speak for myself, but I definitely want to be the next big band to take over, and I think it shows in our live performance and the music that we write. And
just stay loud, stay intense,
stay loud,
stay intense. Just fucking destroy everything.
It's funny because I think part of what kind of fed a little bit of that ego that we had was because like even when we were trying out members, like when we didn't have a drummer, we kept trying out drummers, and man, we were pulling drummers from everywhere. All parts of Arizona. I think we had a guy come down from California. We could not find a drummer because of what we were playing and how heavy it was and like how fast it was. And it's like, I mean, I could say the same for a lot of bands out here. There's a lot of bands in Arizona that are just fucking talented as shit. They're just killing it. And like, I could imagine any of those bands having a hard time finding members because they are excellent musicians. And that was what I always really liked about Condemned Till Dawn, because like Ian's a fucking madman. He drums as good as anybody. Genius, he plays guitar as good as anybody. Like that dude.
He plays
cello. As fuck. Yeah,
he plays fucking clarinet.
Yeah,
he plays all sorts of shit. I don't know if he plays.
There is some serious, real musicians out here in Arizona, and I really want to see them all getting out there. But
he wrote his own orchestral pieces.
I know, I saw that.
Yeah, they sound good too.
Absolutely, Nate's getting into
really
that
good.
too. He writes a lot of like orchestration and stuff for like his death metal stuff that
Like
I think it's probably
like
Shores of
metal,
Ithaca or something.
Shores of Ithaca.
Yeah. So like he's doing a lot of that too, and it's like that's where me and Nate really connect on that stuff because I love all that shit too. You know, and but yeah, like when we're finding drummers, everybody we tried out, there would just be like, I can't play that. there was one guy, he like fully set up his kit, and then we like played one of our songs over the PA. We're like, just so you know, this is kind of what we're about. And he set up his entire kit and he never played it. He like set it all up and he was like, I'm not gonna even lie, like I can't do that. It's like, bro, you've been here an hour, you just set up your kit and you're not even gonna try. And he's like, no, just to be honest with you guys, I can't do that.
Like, it's not gonna sound like that.
Yeah. And it's like, we respected the hell out of his honesty, but it was just like, damn, we did have that question of like, are we really doing something that's really that technical, that really heavy and fast and hard? Is it really not everybody's normal music?
People that play it, man.
There's a lot of them out here.
Lucky you found Attila. Jesus Christ.
we got lucky with Attila because
you're gonna talk about a madman. Jesus Christ, dude. Attila's crazy.
That dude hits the drums harder than anybody, and he does it fast. And when you have somebody who can hit hard really fucking fast, damn.
Yeah, he's definitely the guy for house shows.
Yeah, he's the guy for shows. Period. You know, you got
loud.
Some drummers that are really good at recording because they're consistent and shit's triggered and all that shit. You know, and they're really technical. But you put them in a real live setting without those triggers, it's not the same. But you have Attila who doesn't need a single fucking trigger, and him playing live is ridiculous. I love Soundcheck. Soundcheck really sets the tone of the room because everybody's like, holy shit.
Well, yeah, as soon as he plays like a little roll, he's like,
like,
yeah, it's just like he'll hit the snare at the end, and then everybody just is like, shit. They like all stop, like hush, like is it time?
Yeah.
Like, nope, that was just sound check.
No, when he's doing the sound check he's doing the sound check for the kick drum, just go. It's just so fucking loud. Maybe that's just how all kick drums sound on stage, but being next to him doing sound check, yeah, you can hear that shit fucking ricocheting off the floor, and
he's fighting demons, dude.
Yeah.
He's just fighting demons the whole time.
That's why we call him artillery. He's fucking dude's a madman. I love Attila.
The Lord's artillery.
Yeah. Yep. Divine drumming.
I've never seen a Christian play like that, man. Fucking nuts.
Yeah. He's definitely one of the best, I think. He doesn't give himself enough credit. He shits on himself a lot, but damn, he's...
No, I mean, that's part of what makes him good, though. You know?
Absolutely.
You need to have that self-critique.
I feel like as a musician, if you're complacent, if you're okay with where you're at, then you're not a real musician. You should always be striving to be better and be tighter and to write faster and just be...
At least different.
Just be better, yeah. You should always be trying to do new things. You should always be growing your talent and ability and all of that. And if you're not, then why are you doing it? You're okay playing the same thing over and over, writing the same songs over and over. Fuck that.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Nope.
Even when I do art, if I'm trying to draw something that's like the same thing I've drawn before, I can't do it.
Yeah, you draw a fucking apple 5 times. You don't want to draw apples no more.
Yeah. 5 times, that's about all it takes, dude. You have people with whole catalogs of apples.
Yep.
Like, fuck, how do you do that?
Like how many fucking times do you need to draw an apple? You're either good at it or you're not.
I can't imagine how people draw comics. You know, they have to draw the same characters like hundreds of times.
When you got
for like a few chapters.
You know, anywhere from 5 to 20 images on one page, depending on how it's cut up.
Yeah. And then you have fucking Attila over here on the drums. He plays a song like totally like it seems perfect to me. I'm just standing in the room. You guys are all fucking practicing, rehearsing or whatever. and he'll stop and be like, God fucking damn, I fucking sucked so bad. I'm like, oh my God, Attila, dude. Like, that sounded amazing.
He gets
He's
really
like,
mad at himself.
No, I didn't. I've missed almost everything. Like, Jesus.
He gets very fucking mad at himself.
He's like, well, I'm glad you think I was good, but I really wasn't.
that's like his catchphrase is like, I'm glad you guys liked it. It's like, Attila, you're fucking awesome. Stop.
So humble.
Stop. Like, you got to really, like,
when people compliment him after the show, he like is genuinely surprised. He's like, like, really? You liked that? It's like, yeah. It was amazing. You blew everybody else out of the fucking water, dude. It's like, I don't know. I like that one time he filmed himself in California. Yeah. He just happened to get a really good angle of himself playing the drums. Mm-hmm. And wherever he had it was a GoPro, right? That he set up?
I think so.
I think it was a GoPro. But wherever the mic was on that.
Or I think it was his phone.
It was his phone?
I think it was his phone.
Wherever he had it set up, the sound was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he did it, but like, putting a cell phone mic that close to drums usually will just something is gonna fuck up.
Yep.
But he just had it in between all the sound waves in such a way like he caught everything, and it's such good audio, and like you could still hear the guitars and the vocals and everything. And man, it was just such a cool video of him playing like through like 4 songs in a row.
Well, and if it was California, that was like Archenaut's peak at that time.
Oh yeah, dude.
We went to
that's when we went to San Diego and played at like the Salty Frog and
we were
at other place.
We were at our like peak ability too. Like we were so well practiced, so well rounded. We could fucking play the shit out of those songs with our eyes closed. Like we rehearsed a lot, and anytime we talked about how much other bands would rehearse, they were always so surprised by how much we practiced. And that's what makes a difference.
It sounded good, dude.
When you fucking practice 3 times a week and you're practicing for 4 to 6 hours during those practice sessions over and over and over, and you have 13 plus songs that you're playing over and over and over, that's a long set. That's an hour and a half set, and you're playing that over and over and over.
Every practice.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yep. And we're doing that 3 times a week. And that shit, it shows. Like, we're tight. It's not fun. I mean, it's it's fun sometimes, but it's also just necessary.
It's the banter in between, like the hanging out.
That's why you gotta have a little bit of that fuck off time in between everything too. Because if not, you do go fucking insane. You lose your shit. You get pissed because you're just like, God, I'm sick of playing this shit. But if you try to have fun with it and you just, I don't know. Yeah, just have fun with it. Because if you're having fun playing the same songs over and over and you get really comfortable with what you're doing, you can start throwing shit in that you normally wouldn't throw in just to try shit. And because you're so well practiced, you don't miss a beat doing it. Even if it doesn't sound good, you don't miss a beat doing it because you're just like, oh, I know exactly where I'm at in this song. You know? And muscle memory just takes over.
Yeah, I could definitely see that in examples like when Attila drops a stick or something. Every drummer drops sticks. But like with how Attila plays so hard and fast, he'll lose a stick and just grab it and just keep going. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yep.
Like I can't imagine. I'd be done.
There's times where he's played like he may drop a stick in practice or something like, and he doesn't just drop it; it ends up getting thrown across the room because that's how hard he's fucking.
Yeah, it slips out of his hand. He's already like 100 miles an hour.
I think it's going. It's going across the room. Like, he got one stuck in the wall at our studio before we left. Yeah.
Jesus.
He's
just like,
yeah. He broke a stick. He broke it and it went it like stuck to the wall.
God damn.
And, but there's been times where like he'll play an entire riff with one stick and people don't even fucking notice.
Yeah.
You know?
It's good. As long as it's the snare.
Yep. As long as he's got the sticks right there. If not, then you got Steven going to pick up a stick and he'll just like toss it to him and he'll just like nothing.
That's dope.
Nothing.
Guess should practice that move.
But I fucking missed every goddamn thing. That was fucking shit. I suck. You know, like he's amazing. But then at the end of it, no matter how good he is, he's just I fucking suck.
Yeah. You almost have to like. You almost feel obligated to like bring his spirits up after a show.
Yeah.
You're like, Attila, no, it was good, dude. Come on, like I swear it was a good. He's like, it's like, come on, dude, cheer up. Everybody loved it.
It's funny because I feel like I'm the complete opposite. I'm like glowing after a show. I'm like, fuck yeah, that was perfect. Even though I know I fucked up a bunch of shit. It's
probably closer to the truth though than Attila's.
I think it's
like negative ass. Like
I think it's partially just my blind ego too. I want it to be perfect. I want to be the best. I want to be the shit. So I am the shit. That was the best. And
maybe it's a good balance.
I think that translates too. I think that's part of the overall attitude and sound of Archenaut is that like I am the shit. We are good. Yeah. We are good at what we do, and believing that because I feel like a lot of people do get on their shit, and I don't think there's anything wrong with being confident in your ability.
Just don't give Attila a microphone. He'll start apologizing to the audience.
I don't know if he would. I don't know if he would
do that last one, guys.
I don't know if he would do that.
No, probably not.
Show,
I'm exaggerating.
It's a funny thought because I think he would even laugh at that.
He would have the thought. He would think about it. Like,
yeah.
Should I mention about how I dropped that stick or
one? It's funny because. Yeah, I mean, maybe he would be like that because I'm that way on stage. I'm my way on stage. I'm like, come on, motherfuckers, like you're gonna love this shit, you know. Like I'm trying to rile people up, and luckily I don't have a microphone. I'd probably be annoying. I'd probably be like the early days of like Dave Mustaine and Metallica, where he was just obnoxious on the mic and just literally like just berating the crowd, trying to get them riled up. That's me. Like I'd be cussing at
trying
people.
Too hard.
Trying way too hard to get people excited.
Just amped up on your own adrenaline.
Yep, pretty much. Yep.
It's like they're not on your level. Like chill.
Yeah. There's been times where it's worked though, depending on the show. Like we've definitely had some Archenaut shows where like crowds were really into it.
Yeah.
Enough that like what I was saying to them was really getting them going. And then Steven's on top of it doing that too, and he's jumping in the crowd and he's moshing with them, and like that shit gets people going.
Yeah, it does. It really does sometimes.
It's like this band is asking us to fight them. You know, like, let's fucking fight them. You know, so.
Do you remember, oh shit, there was one band that you guys played a show with. I don't know if it was, I think it was called Worldwide Panic. But there was a guy up at the front of the stage. It was just this little bald dude. He was the singer. And he was saying like some weird shit on the microphone. I don't know if he was on something or like if he was just like really cheesy and cliche and like trying to be clever. But he kept saying stuff like, you know, like, oh, this song, we're going to make your girl pussies and your boy pussies wet with this one. You know, just like, what? What the fuck did you just say? And like out of nowhere, he started talking about like how they're an enemy of like racism and like that white supremacy bullshit can get the fuck out of here. And like everyone was like, okay, like where did this come from? Like,
right. People go to shows to get away from shit like that.
Yeah. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, that's why OTEP gets a bad rap out here. And that's why every time we've played with them, we've blown them off the stage because they get super political. And it's like, people don't want to fucking hear that. Not at a metal show. They don't want to fucking, yeah. They're not there to see that shit.
Like, now that you have a voice, like, you should just use it for music. Just keep going with music.
Yep.
You know? But, yeah. Well, OTEP is, like, they're, like, pretty political anyways.
Yeah.
Their music in general is, like, anti-establishment kind of rhetoric, isn't it?
Yeah, well, and she just has strong opinions that she puts into her music, and she expects everybody who follows her to have that same opinion. And every band that she puts on her bill for touring has to have that same opinion too. So like, yeah, we played one of the shows that they had booked out here for one of their tours, and one of the bands got kicked off last minute because she found out that band was like smoking weed in their tour bus. And it's like, that's their off time. They're off the clock. Like what they do in their own trailers.
That's really fucked up.
Up to them, and you're gonna kick them off the fucking tour because you're not about that lifestyle. That's cool, but that's their lifestyle. Fuck you. Like,
wait, they're a famous musician that doesn't smoke weed?
I guess. I don't know. I think that I'm pretty sure that was the reason, if I remember correctly, was that it was something related to that, something weed related, or like the band was trying to get weed or something, and she didn't like that, so she kicked him off the bill. Kicked him off the tour.
Most bands.
Yeah. But because she didn't agree with it, she didn't want that on her tour. And it's like, I guess if it's your tour and you're putting it together, I can see why you would want certain things a certain way. But like, to what degree, you know? Again, that's their off time.
Yeah, you're asking a lot there.
Mm-hmm. Like, what, are you going to control the food that they eat too?
Yeah. Why don't you just write their music?
You don't like pineapple on pizza, but they do? You're going to kick them off the tour?
Just give them a set list.
Yeah.
Like, let them know what they're going to play.
Yeah. Let them know, you know, what slot they have, how long they have, and
give them their costumes.
That's
all.
all.
Let them know what they're going to wear.
Yep. I mean, if it's not affecting your band or your ability to play or continue the tour, then fuck off.
Yeah, unless it's like, I don't know, were they like endangering the tour by having weed?
Nope.
Because like Willie Nelson's been doing that since the 70s.
Well, how do all these other fucking metal bands do cocaine and shit on the road and keep going and touring? It's like, it obviously isn't affecting their tour. It's not preventing them from playing the shows. So who fucking cares?
Some of them probably play better with the cocaine.
Well,
honestly.
yeah, I mean, well, like Phil Anselmo on fucking heroin on stage, like that's a little different. That's
He's
definitely
just a singer.
different.
Come on.
Yeah, I
mean, good luck playing guitar on heroin.
That's what I mean.
Like that. I mean,
it was kind of like
do it, but not at that level.
Well, it was kind of like Axl Rose. Actually, I think that was like the big beef in Guns N' Roses because he was straight edge, and Slash was doing drugs. But it's like he was playing the shows.
Yeah,
he was there. And I think he was threatening to like disband Guns N' Roses as a result of it or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but
sounds like a nerd.
Yeah.
I hate Axl Rose, dude.
There's not very many people that like him.
Every time I hear him talk, it's just like I just immediately start grinding my teeth. I don't know what to do. I gotta just like change the channel or something. Fuck, man. Even looking at him just makes me so mad.
Makes me want to give him one of these. Change your face.
I rearrange your face.
Bah!
Anyways, man. I think we've had a good long conversation.
Fuck yeah.
To share with the audience. But I'm really excited to see what Archenaut has in store. It's going to be cool.
I'm excited for the future and future songs that we do.
All right, man. Well, it's good talking with you. And hopefully we can get some guitar riffs out of you soon.
Yes, let's do it.
Help out with these highlights and shit I want to make.
Let's do it.
All right, it's good talking with you, man.
See you later.